Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Matt Murray.
It's still coming home.
I'm also here with Sean Bell.
It's coming home, lads. Come on. This is it.
Yeah, and it's not that Sean Bell's not last anymore in the list. It's just that James ain't here because he's got some shit to deal with. So he's off dealing with shit. Sean is still last. It is coming home, isn't it? It's only bloody coming home.
What I love about
I've been
this,
saying
right,
it all along.
What I love about it is that song is like, what, 22 years old?
Yep.
All right, yeah, go on.
No, it's just, I love the fact that it hasn't come home since that song came out, but it's like that. So that song has just been in the fucking chamber this entire time,
and it still says 30 years of hurt. But
yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah, they
redid
it in '98, and I wasn't a fan of that one. I didn't like the lyrics as much, but
well, no, but like at the time it was fine. You know, it was quite odd. I was saying, like, guaranteed, if we get through to the final by the end of the week, there'll be a re-release of that with probably Stormzy rapping in the middle.
The thing is, I checked today, like, it's number one coming in the iTunes charts. They don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, surely,
it.
the way things work now, it doesn't need re-releasing.
Also, this year, the official World Cup song is, England's one is done by the Kaiser Chiefs, and I heard it once and it's horrendous. It's so embarrassing.
I was going to say, I didn't know they'd done
It's
one,
something like Ra Rasputin or something. It's fucking dreadful. But this will be the one year, the one championship where maybe we go, get to the final or win it, and the actual World Cup song is nowhere to be heard ever. And it's like, don't worry, the song from 28 years ago, that was going to blow up. I mean, to be fair, like, we, a lot of people sing it for most championships, but the fact we're actually doing well, we're like, hang on, this is it. Like, it's
That's
amazing.
It's like it's finally paying off. Like that.
It was like in '98. In '98, when they re-released that song, they said, we'll make this the official World Cup song, World Cup '98. And the FA said, no, we're not doing the same song again. So I think that was the year they did a Spice Girls one, right? But the problem was, they re-released Three Lions and they brought out Vindaloo. So the Spice Girls was like number 40 in the charts, and those two were number one. Like, it was just ridiculous. No, it is mad. It is mad. On the way home from the game on Saturday, I was so drunk. Joe was like, what are we going to eat tonight? I was like, I don't even know if I could cook. I don't know. Should be not be near a fucking oven at all. I was plastered. And she said, right, okay, we're just going to McDonald's. We rolled into the McDonald's car park. I'm hanging out of the window singing Three Lions. We walk in, sit down. I thought, okay, I'm calming down now. We get our food. All of a sudden, all of the kids in the McDonald's just started up as like spontaneous Three Lions. And that was it, mate. I'm on the fucking table.
Yeah. It's just so good to hear it and to sing it. I watched a game on the weekend at this like venue in Leeds. So normally they play their gigs there, but they have a massive screen in the car park. And just hearing hundreds of people just singing it out loud, it's just amazing.
Sean, are you one of these people that's like tutting? Are you tutting at it, or are you alright?
No, I mean, I
can imagine how it would do people's nuts in if you're not into it.
The only thing that gets me, right, so on Saturday we went out shopping, and it was lovely because there's fucking no one there, right? But, like, everyone who, like, served me at the till or whatever was like, oh, she made you come out, watching the game. I'm like, no, I chose to be. I'm a grown adult. That gets a bit tedious, but, like, doesn't
Noo just turn around to you and go, oh, go on, just get into it for a bit?
It's coming home, Sean. No, she's not that fussed. Like, she's sort of fine either way. She's just not really bothered. Whereas I'm like, ugh. But no, I'm happy. Like, I'm glad how happy it seems to be making people. Aside from when they trash ambulances, but that's a minority, obviously.
Top human scum. And I mean, I always start my conversations with you is that like, you don't understand, Sean, but you do, right? I'm not being patronising. I always come across as patronising. I don't mean to. But it's just been like years of being punched in the stomach. Yeah. Constantly being punched in the stomach. Hey, we're going to do it this year. No, we're not. Like, and we go out in the worst way. It's just awful, especially in recent years. You know what I mean? It's been terrible, and this is like the one time, and what's great about it is that it's a team that no one thought would do any good, and here we are. And I should point out, this show is out on the Wednesday of the semi-final, so I think maybe we should just plant our flags in the ground, lads. Let's just do it. Let's make our predictions. Matt?
Well, obviously it's an England win. I'm going to say 3-1.
3-1. I'm going 2-1 England. Sean?
I'll literally just be making up numbers. Is that just what you want me to
make up some numbers?
All right, 2-0 to England.
Oh,
get in right. If it's 2-0, then Sean is now going to predict the final. Come on.
Yeah, it's just amazing to be a part of it right now. Like everyone is, loving it. It's just, yeah. I mean, this is
here's a question
to my generation, apart from '96.
Matt, I've got my annual review on Thursday morning. Right? Would it be better if we won or lost? How would it go? Like, if we win, I'm going to turn up to work. Probably in the same clothes as I was in the night before, stinking of alcohol, sitting down in front of my boss and the HR lady, trying to explain where I want to be in 5 years' time. Or do we lose and it's just me just slamming my fists on the table throughout the whole review?
Well, what's worse, drinking to celebrate or drinking to forget? Because that's the choice, right?
I'm not good at drinking to forget.
Okay.
If I'm down, I just want to go home and go to bed. Honestly, I'm not one of those. I'm just like, I just want to go home now. I just want to go. I've got the
Yeah, there's no possible actual time or event that could possibly mean that losing would ever be the better option. Obviously,
good point.
We have to win. If they ask you where you want to be in 4 years' time, say Qatar. Yeah,
nice.
It's amazing. I can't wait.
Very good. Very good.
I sort of get it because it's like the idea of Nintendo having a good E3. It's like every year.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. I mean, England getting to the World Cup final is probably more common. Yeah, I mean, 90 minutes of watching England struggle for a match feels less painful than 25 minutes of Smash Brothers. See, what we're doing, people, is that we're bringing it back down to video games. We're aware that you're sick of this shit, and we're just bringing it back down to computer games. So that's good, isn't it? So let's get straight into feedback then, Matt. Let's go.
Well, I guess we should talk about our Kickstarter, which has ended.
Oh my God, what an amazing thing that was.
Yeah, man.
What humbled, just grateful for the support from everyone. Rich. Honestly, it was wonderfully touching that people would want to go out and buy these t-shirts, and it was crazy. I genuinely thought if we sold £1,000 worth of t-shirts, then I would be over the moon. But to get over 3,000 is just incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. We will do everything we can to get these t-shirts out to you as quick as possible. I mean, Matt's trying to hamper it a little bit with his little updates, but we'll brush over that, eh, Matt?
Well, I don't know. What do you mean little updates?
Didn't you send something out? I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I didn't understand. You sent me an email saying, I can't believe it, this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life. And I went, what did you do? I sent some questions out, but they had to tick both boxes instead of one box. And now everyone's confused.
Dave, you should be more bothered because this might create more headaches for you doing the logistics of sorting the parcels.
To be fair, Sean, and I genuinely need this. Yeah. I've barely done anything to help, and Matt's done all the work. So he's got a completely free pass to make my job a little bit harder. I'm not angry with him at all.
It's all good. I've been replying. Yeah. So just to clarify, by now everyone who's backed the Kickstarter should have received a message in some form. If you ordered t-shirts only, I did a survey. The survey required you to fill in both men's and female sizes. That was a mistake on my part. But with Kickstarter, you can't then edit the survey nor send out another one. So that was it. It was dead to me. So what I've done is I've sent everyone a survey if you ordered t-shirts only. Fill out the survey in both men's and women's sizes, hopefully the same size. But in the delivery instructions, put whether you want men's or women's. So that's it. If you order polos only, I've done the survey. It worked fine. Bish bash bosh, no complaints. If you order both the t-shirts and the polos in that £30 combo bundle, I've just sent you a message. There is no survey, so look for a message on Kickstarter and respond with your style, men or women's, your size, obviously all details are on the campaign page, and your address you want to send it to, and that's it. So, yeah.
Has anyone contacted you to get them for cost price yet? Either of you?
I did that before we did it, of course.
What? Well, no. Who's contacted? Has anyone flat out gone? Well, I'm not paying a full price. Can I just have one for cost?
Oh, that no, because
my dad did. My dad was like that. I said, just buy one, Dad. No. I ain't paying that. Get me a t-shirt. Two t-shirts, a polo shirt. Dad, fuck off! I cannot believe just just pay full price, mate. You know what I mean? We get, it's a little tip for your son. No, I ain't doing that. No, don't worry about it then. Don't worry. I'm like, fucking hell, Dad. So I've got an order now. It's going to fuck everything up. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah. So just to echo what Dave said, we're blown away by the support and by everyone who watched our streams in the lead up to the last few days and retweeted it and dealt with the constant self-promotion shit for an entire month. I'm sorry it got a bit extreme at some points, but had to do what we had to do. Thank you. We're blown away. And just respond to the messages I've sent and or surveys. But any questions, just hit me up on Twitter. Should we go into follow up now?
Let's do it.
So James McCall, I really enjoyed the streams you put on last week to count down to the end of your Kickstarter. Congrats on smashing the target, by the way. I particularly enjoyed the Portal 2 stream. My two favourite moments were Matt trying for ages to put a portal on the black wall, which of course you can't. I mean, I knew it was white walls only, but at one point, James and I were stuck. While saying he had completed both Portal 1 and 2, I have done that. And also, Matt staring at James's robot for a hole in the wall and repeatedly saying he didn't know how to pass a cube through to him. While I said that, he stared at him through a hole in the wall big enough to fit a cube through. I was screaming at my TV and laughing a lot. Thanks to entertainment, Matt and James. I love your streams together. Yeah, I mean, James and I, the first, co-op, a chamber, I guess you'd call it, in Portal. Yeah, we were getting stupidly stuck, but after that we were flying through them. And Portal 2, I'm going to talk about it a bit later. It's still amazing. It's still fucking brilliant. Right. We played that. Shy. So last week we talked about gaming peripherals. We either wanted or had or coveted. Shy mentioned the Negcon as was the Jog-Con for Ridge Racer 1 and all of them afterwards. Wasn't an early analog stick. It was made for Ridge Racer Type 4. It was meant to be a steering wheel. I think we might have mentioned that,
right,
but
okay.
In my head.
No, you mentioned it, but you said it was like some weird dial analog thing.
Yeah, I mean,
and I said, the one for the Atari 2600. And you were like, yeah. I was like, okay.
I don't know what you mean. Simon Bradley, I was surprised to see so many people recommending Valkyria Chronicles on last week's show, just after I started playing the Banner Saga and was suddenly starting to get into turn-based strategy games. I'm a big fan of turn-based games, and I find the weird hybrid system in Valkyria Chronicles pretty unsatisfying. It feels much more unfair than that thing in XCOM where enemy gets a free go when you first see them. I've never managed to get anywhere in a game despite buying it at least 3 times. My own recommendation would be SteamWorld Heist, available on everything except inexplicably the Xbox One. I think it went under the radar a bit because people confuse it with Dig. I found out it through a former podcast of one of your team. So I assume that's you, Sean, on Midnight Resistance.
It could have been Chris, who has also tweeted us about this.
So Chris Band, CS87 on Twitter. In the last 2 weeks, Matt has asked about turn-based strategy games, and Sean has failed to mention SteamWorld Heist both times, clearly demonstrating his lack of attention since joining the foul database. How does the team feel about this?
So, right, because he texted me after the last episode went up, and he's like, Matt's asked you about turn-based strategy games twice, and you haven't mentioned it. I was sure I had. But apparently he's gone back and checked, and I definitely didn't. You should play SteamWorld Heist. It's really fucking good.
So that sounds like a game
it doesn't sound like you mean it, Sean. That sounds like you're being bullied in.
Been caught out.
To say something you don't really want to say. So it's like you going onto another podcaster going, Arcade Racer, well then you should definitely play Onrush, which I hear is fun and available now on all systems.
So SteamWorld, do I own one of them? I presume Heist isn't on has it been on PlayStation Plus or Games of Gold or something?
It might have been.
Or maybe
I'm not
the first
sure.
one has. That sounds like a game I own, but maybe not.
You might do. It's on Switch. I know that much. Like I said, it is on everything.
Matt Murray, isn't it? That sounds like a game I own.
No, because I just heard that game, the name so long, it feels like, have I just got on PlayStation Plus somehow?
Yeah, I remember that every podcast was talking about that Poxy game when it came out.
I might give it a go. I mean, I've got a massive list. I want to play Hollow Knight, and I want to get back to Celeste and all sorts. But it's definitely on the list. Lead the Night.
The Witcher, is that on the list? Is The Witcher on the list?
Every time I see my Xbox, I'm like, I should play Witcher, but clearly not.
It should. It is one of the best games.
Yeah, ever. That's the thing. Everyone raves about it. The disc is still on my Xbox, but actually no, Portal 2 is now. Lead the Night, great Draxit show, lads. 1 point for you to consider. Never give up the noises that Farley dislikes. They're too funny. Granted, they shouldn't be funny, but they are. I mean, I'm a big fan of noises, but
They're the most childish thing we ever do. But it's just so funny because he unintentionally makes the funniest noises. Like when he's talking, it's stuff like that, and you've just got to do it back to him, otherwise he'll never learn. He'll never learn.
Yeah, I mean, I still like my name is James, which is a classic. Colin Elcom is not a fan of Dave. A computer game show would be much better without David Turner's. Tamor should replace him.
Right, firstly, Tamor works for GameSpot. He ain't going to put his name to this. Secondly, it wouldn't be better. I'll flat out and say it wouldn't be better. We all know that. I mean, you wait. This time next year, when I've had a good amount of time off, you'll be begging for me back. Like, there'll be the first few episodes where they go, oh, I actually prefer this. Less arguing. Oh, yeah, I like this better.
Yeah, we're recording so 8 o'clock. It's amazing.
Yeah, then no, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about the listeners. They'll be going, oh, this is so much better, isn't it? Yeah, everyone's getting along. Oh, God, this is the podcast that I wanted. It's so much better without Dave. Then, like, the weeks tick by, you know, the fucking listener figures start dropping, and then it's like people like, well, get him back.
Yeah, I mean, let me be clear. It won't be the same without you, Dave. And listener figures may be affected, but we'll try and push on.
Downhill. Go on.
We'll try and push on. Rob McElroy, I loved hearing Farley talk about Hollow Knight on last week's computer game show. The rest of the lads should really get on this one. Hopefully there'll be more discussion about the game in future. In my opinion, one of the best non-Nintendo games available on Switch. Yeah, it's definitely on the list.
That's a big claim because there's some good ones there.
It's definitely on the list.
There was some very good non-Nintendo games on
Yeah, I need to get Yoku's Island. Just because
you really do. I mean, what a game.
Also, I used to like Sonic Spinball, so it sounds like it's pretty perfect for me.
It's nothing like it, but it's really good regardless.
But it is pinball, isn't it?
I'm really, I mean, there's pinball in it, but you're not necessarily playing through tables. It's a whole like world that you're walking around, and you know, it's all that sort of stuff. You don't go into individual tables like you do in Spinball. But I don't know, like that game has blown my mind really, because when I played it, it was one of those games where you go, oh my God, I am loving every single minute of this, but I can see a lot of people not liking it, so I'm not going to go too nuts when it comes out. And then like the reviews come in, and it was like you like everyone was saying how brilliant it was, so it was kind of like, oh, that's a bit of a surprise. But yeah, I mean, I'll be touching on that subject later with another game, but yeah, reviews come out and you go, holy shit, I thought it was just me. Brilliant. Everyone loves it. Good.
How long is that game? I know it's like a shitty thing to ask, but...
Oh, God, like it's like 4 hours to get to the story, and then, God knows, I think we put 15 hours into it to complete everything.
I know it's like the worst thing to say, like, oh, how long is this piece of art? Because I haven't got time for it. It's the worst thing ever. But also, if you're like 25 hours, I'm like... I mean, yeah, God of War was incredible, but also it was.
I just had a look. It's 5 hours for the main story. Okay, yeah, I'll maybe get. Oh, sorry, 5.5 hours. Oh no, forget it.
Yeah. I do often go on how long to beat if I get a new game. I'm like, oh.
Do you really?
Yeah, because you know what I'm like, you know. And if it's short, I'm like, oh, but like Banner Saga, I was like, wow, this is like, well, 2 games are out now, a third one's come out in late July. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll play it. I was like, 10 hours to finish the story, I'll play this, definitely. If it said 30 or 40, I would have been like, no.
Well, I suppose that's fair, but like I tend to not go on the how long to beat. What I tend to do is play for a few hours until it starts not getting sluggish, but like you're really deep into it, and then I'll go onto a guide, right? Not to read the guide itself, but to look at the chapters and go, okay, I'm about there, fine, and then I shut it again. I did that on God of War a lot. Yeah, I was like, okay, how far I am into this? 2/3. Okay, that's good. Now I know where I am in it. Like that's what I look for.
Yeah, I do that sometimes, but then other times I've tried to avoid it because I don't want to see like the names of the chapters in case it's like man dies here. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake. I tried to avoid that.
Chapter 9, man dies here.
Main character dies here. Like, for fuck's sake.
Either that, or you just put on YouTube and watch the ending, innit?
There's no need to do it.
Same thing. Same thing.
Nah, actually, I do want to play Night in the Woods. I want to finish that.
It's good.
Okay, anyway, really good. Lee the Knight. So Lee the Knight actually wrote a comment on. Sorry, bad. That's a different comment. Actually, I'll go to Curtis.
Bad comment. That's a bad comment. That's a naughty comment.
Curtis wrote a comment on our Podbean page. You don't read these, do you, Matt? Well, it was another fun pod. Shame you couldn't nail James to the wall, but at least you're exposed and put it on record. It has a Sean Bell bias.
I think that's the first time
I missed it
anyone's
because I was
been
thinking of
accused
Bad
that.
Matt. What was that? No, say it again. You were accused of what?
Said, you don't read these, do you, Matt? Talking about the comments on our Podbean post. Another fun pod, but shame you couldn't nail James to the wall, but at least you exposed and put it on the record that he has a Sean Bell bias.
Right, what's the Sean Bell bias? I forgot about
the
it.
news thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, shit, of course, yeah. Like, he was like proper, hey, yeah, Sean, what a great story. If I remember correctly, I think I've got the transcript here. It goes like this. James, this is the best news story I've ever read. Sean, thank you, James, for the compliment. James, no problem. Matt, I put this forward a while ago and you ignored me. James, fuck off, Matt, I hate you. That's sounds
accurate.
Openly shut case.
Yeah.
Leader Knight actually responded to this.
It sounds worse when you read it out like that.
Yeah, it does sound pretty. Yes, and the ambiguity's all gone. Leader Knight, I love Farley, but I'm wholeheartedly with Matt on this Google console and the news stuff. Half-baked news is half-baked news, whether it's among a busy week or not. Don't cut any computer game news from your news section, James. So
what does he mean? I don't understand that. So
well,
he's saying he's on your side
past,
and that the news was shit, but then he's also saying, but don't cut any news out.
I think you're saying because in the past I've added news stories where I felt irrelevant and James
I
like,
see.
No.
So right, okay.
Oh wait, so he's saying shit news is shit news, but read it anyway. Like that was his point.
Yeah, well, there's actually 2 points there, but I take them both.
Shit news is
I
shit
agree
news,
with both,
but don't you
Lee.
dare not read it out.
I agree with both of those points, Lee. So good comment. Bad, no, it's a good post. Mike Diver. Well, last week we talked about old phones because it was a weird week and we started going down memory lane.
We were all a bit delirious by the end of the week.
Mike Diver. The saving text message chat on Computer Game Show on today's commute was so real. I had to pause and pour one out of my ancient Motorola. R.I.P. You brilliant brick with your minuscule memory and not even Snake. Unbelievable. I mean,
is that the right? I'm assuming then by saying not even Snake, I'm assuming then it was that Motorola that had the big aerial, and it had the big OK button, with the arrows either side underneath it. That was my first mobile phone.
That was mine as well. Yeah,
big one,
classic,
big,
absolute shocker. And it come with didn't it come with a clip so you can clip it onto your belt? When you first started at school, you did it because you were like, fuck yeah, I've got a mobile phone.
In case I get a call. Yeah.
And you were just like, oh my God. And you could spin it around on that clip. And it was just like, oh my God, you lost it about a day like that and think, no, actually, you walk past a mirror and just go, fuck off. I'm not doing that. Like, I may be a kid, but even I know now that this needs to come off my belt and into my bag. Because there's no way it's fitting in my fucking pocket, know what I mean? Right, okay, what was the next one?
Did any of you guys have pages at your school? Or you a bit...
God, yeah, I had a pager, yeah.
Yeah, I remember
I never did. We never did pages.
Cool motherfucker. You had to go to a phone
I bought one for 25 quid.
Nice.
And it was I think it was a Motorola one with like a little bit of plastic around the screen that you could replace with different colours or whatever.
Nice.
You couldn't get them anywhere. You just couldn't get them. I used to have it. The only thing that I used it for, because no one fucking paged me, was for just football results that come in about half an hour after the after the goal.
Up to the minute.
Like everyone's talking about how Chelsea were 2-1 up, and then my buzzer will go off and it'll go, Chelsea are 1-0 up.
Buzzer goes, kick-off has started. I'm surprised that the hipsters haven't started bringing those things back, because they're all like,
pages.
Anti-smartphone, I'm sick of being a slave to the phone, I'm going to go for a pager. Maybe I'll bring it back to Leeds. Barry, okay, so this is the last few comments, and it's about something that happened on the last show. Barry Mitchell, there was some fart at the 1 hour 8 minute section in the last show. Can I assume James is up to his usual? Curtis, did a motorcycle just drive through Sean's gaff? Stigweed, was someone playing a racing game at 1 hour 8 minutes? Do you want to explain this, Dave?
Well, yeah, I mean, Matt sent me a message after saying that there was a dickhead on a motorcycle outside.
It was James, actually.
Was it?
No, I was implying James was on a motorcycle.
Oh, right, okay. Good gag,
just
sorry.
Revving it.
I worked on that delivery.
He's always doing that. It's a nightmare.
He's born to be wild, that boy, isn't he?
Yes.
He's just born to be bloody wild. No, so Matt sent me a text saying, here are the timestamps when this motorbike went past. I was like, great. The problem was, it didn't show up in the, in the backup recording, so I didn't pick it up from that. Then when I'm editing it, I had a look on the times that Matt gave me, and I searched it on GarageBand, couldn't find it anywhere. So I thought, okay, maybe it come out in the noise removal thing that I do. Yeah. It did not. It did not. It was there. It was rather loud.
It was really loud.
So, apologise for that. Yeah, it just sounded like you were getting the fuck out of the podcast.
I mean, this is the problem. This is the problem with recording when it's fucking 30 degrees, isn't it? Because obviously we've all got windows open.
Well, I shut mine tonight just in case he's back. But,
I shut mine because I live in a maisonette, and downstairs they sit out in the patio, and I just look like they're sitting out there and hearing this. Like, just one side of this conversation, especially when I go mental and start shouting at people. They must be thinking, what the fuck is going on with that guy?
He's shouting at those poor boys again.
Yeah, he's just phoning up his mates and bollocking them. It's weird.
I was talking about Onrush again. I think it's a new drug. That's it for the follow-up. If you want to leave us a message or follow-up or anything you've got about us, it's at Computer Game Pod, on Twitter, or thecomputergameshow@gmail.com.
And remember, follow-up can be about anything. It could be chipping in with a conversation, putting us right where we've gone wrong, or just having a pop at us. Yeah. Like, send us what you want.
Very much no holds barred. So whether you like us, love us, really hate us, whatever. Like if I'm doing something annoying, please let us know. We'll get read out. We don't hide from that shit.
We're all over it. We're all over it.
Wish we did.
Coming in, Sean, this is the news.
It is. I mean, it's been another dry one. So there was this... Right, Warframe. What do you guys think of Warframe?
I don't know what Warframe is.
Have you not? Okay, so Warframe is
hang on.
massive.
Wait, so you've never heard of Warframe, Dave?
I've heard the title Warframe, but I don't know what it is.
Okay. So it's a fucking huge free-to-play game. A lot of people, like when Destiny 2 came out, a lot of people were like, nah, fuck it, I'm playing Warframe, right? So that's gives you some idea of what it is. It's one of those, like, it's not really an MMO, but there's a lot of co-op stuff. It's like, it's always online. You have a character, you level it up, you get new Warframes, which have different abilities, new guns, new pets, stuff like that.
What is a Warframe?
A Warframe, it's just a robot in the future. It's fine.
It's a bit like your Javelin from Anthem.
I've tried to play this game like 3 times, and I don't get on with it at all. I just hate the way it feels. I think the enemies are a bit boring, but people absolutely fucking love it, and it is absolutely massive now. Yeah. Anyway, it's coming to the Switch, so this is attempt number 4. I'm gonna try again. So yeah,
is there anything you won't try on the Switch? I'm surprised you didn't pick up FIFA. Give that a go.
If it was
Love
free,
it, didn't you?
If it was free, I genuinely might have.
Fortnite the other week. Fortnite.
Yeah.
You wanted to try Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like that's not Sean, is it?
It's probably not. I mean, Fortnite. I spend too much time just running around with nothing happening, and then I get shot. Which I know is just me being bad, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, yeah. So Warframe's coming to the Switch. However, after announcing that, they were showing off all the new shit they're adding to the game, and basically they're adding this new, like, so it's similar to Destiny. You have a ship that you sort of live in, and you fly between missions and stuff, but like nothing much happens in it. But yeah, they're adding this whole like ship-to-ship combat thing, and it basically, so you're in like a massive ship, and you're all running around like manning turrets and piloting the ship and stuff, and people can get out and fly through space and board the other ships and take things over and plant explosives, and it looks fucking wicked, to be fair. So that was really cool, and yeah, and it's coming to the Switch.
So is that mode coming to Switch as well?
As far as I'm aware, yeah.
Yeah, Warframe is interesting.
Is it a third-person shooter?
It is, yeah.
Right, okay.
I think maybe it was last year when Destiny 2 was not doing what we had hoped it would do, or people were falling off it regardless.
Yeah.
I watched I think a Skills Up video. This guy does like really in-depth reviews, and it's of Warframe. Everyone's like, watch this. If you never play Warframe, it will make you want to play the game. And it did. Everything he was saying, it's like a half-an-hour video, but it's so compelling the way it describes all the many different systems at work, and they somehow miraculously work on top of each other. The end game's amazing. You never feel bored. There's always stuff to do. I mean, the reviews, like Jesus Christ, this is a game I have to play. I downloaded it. I admit I never played it. I'm constantly seeing new people like on Twitter saying, "Oh, I started Warframe." Like weeks later, that's all they tweet about because they love it. And it makes you think, I sort of wish I was into this because it sounds like something I could,
that's the thing. Like on paper, I should love this game, and I don't know. Like I say, every time I've tried,
what's turned you off about it?
I just hate the way it feels. I just felt like the combat was really boring. It was just like the enemies were just weren't really doing much. They were just standing there waiting to get shot, and I was just I don't know, just wasn't invested at all. But like I say, people absolutely fucking love it.
So when's this out on Switch?
Don't know, they haven't said yet, but it's being handled by Panic Button, who have done the Doom and Wolfenstein, and the Rocket League ports to the Switch, so they know what they're doing.
I asked about this on Twitter because I thought, well, okay, I haven't played it before, but maybe if I start now on a console and it's cross-save, I'll eventually go on Switch. And basically, the developers have confirmed that although they would love to, and they've looked into it for ages, there's loads of moving parts with the various like console platform holders, and so it's not happening. Or at least it's not happening yet. You know, there's a lot of work to be done for it to happen. So right now, it's not happening. I don't expect cross-platform play, but cross-platform saving. If they said yes, you know, it probably will work with Sony because it's Sony. But if they said it probably will work with Xbox, then I would probably way more likely to try it now on Xbox. And if I can cross-save and get my unlocks on the Switch, etc., that's a much more compelling reason for me to play it now. Because I think that what I said is in the opening few weeks of this game come out on Switch, you can move your profile over from the PC. You can't combine it, but you can move over. There's going to be a grace window.
Right, but that's like a one-time transfer.
I'm not sure. They said for Xbox and for consoles, they're not 100% sure when that's going to happen, but that feels like a one and done. You can move it and then you're playing on another console, but there's no...
It's weird. If they're able to move it from one way, like, surely you just transfer it back and... Like, what's stopping them doing that?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Right.
But yeah,
Warframe, it's all maths, isn't it?
It's an interesting thing that's always there, and there's always people talking about it. I'm like, well, this sounds like a massive thing that I hadn't had anything negative, really, apart from, say, Sean saying it's not good to shoot enemies. Everyone is like, it's amazing, and I do want to just admit I haven't tried it, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting it's coming to Switch. I'm sure it'll blow up if it's as big as and as good as everyone says it is. Have a go,
because I've been intrigued to hear what you guys think. Because like I said, I've wanted to like it for a long time, but I've just struggled. So, but I think if I had like a regular group to play with.
If a group of you all got it together and all sort of pushed on together, then maybe.
Yeah, and it's just it's things like people I know who really like it. They're like, oh yeah, I've bought this new dog and it's going to take a week to unlock. And I'm like, no, fuck off. I'm not doing that. I'm not buying things and then having to wait for a real life timer.
Isn't that what you did with the gunsmith on Destiny?
What about the gunsmith on Destiny?
On Destiny 1, didn't you have to order something and then wait for a week for it to turn up?
Oh, yeah, there was the whole Arms Day thing, which they binned off for Destiny 2, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. You'd buy, like, tickets and then you went back to him. Yeah, because
I swear we're just, like so more sensitive to that stuff in free-to-play games. It's like a mental thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You're just, like, ultra, like... Whenever you play we've mentioned it before, whenever you're playing a free-to-play game, you're like, right... How are they screwing me? Like that's like the first thing.
Yeah.
This isn't in the news, but with the Forsaken, which is your new DLC, basically they're now refreshing everything on a 4-day cycle, not a week cycle. So every 4 days, the resets will happen.
Okay,
that's an interesting change. I reckon the people who are still playing it, just like I haven't done everything I need to do after a couple of days, and I'm bored for like 5 days, and so let's just bring it forward and.
Yeah, like for me, the weekly cycle is fine, but I guess, if you are playing it obsessively or trying to, then I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, so basically, all the new things, everything refreshed on a 4-day cycle apart from the raids, and they're still a week-long cycle. But
I was about to say, the raids, if they didn't refresh weekly, then I will never complete one ever. Yeah. That's fine.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Right, so the other thing is, ArenaNet, makers of Guild Wars 2, have fucking sacked 2 of their writers because of a Twitter exchange with a YouTuber. So
I saw this story, right?
Yeah.
I opened it up.
Yeah.
I saw this on Twitter. I opened it up just like, I don't know what possessed me to do that, because I don't do that often these days. Yeah. And it looked like, I don't know, it's the story started with like the most generic company... PR written thing I've ever read, and I just went, okay, no, I'm not reading that then. So what's the story?
So one of the writers for Guild Wars 2, Jessica Price, she basically did a bunch of tweets just talking about basically the difficulties of writing a good story for like a massively multiplayer online game, because obviously there's tons of players all sort of wanting to contribute to it and wanting to feel like it's their story and et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
And And basically, a guy called, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, I think it's, is it Deroya?
Yeah, Deroya, yeah.
Yeah, I'll say Deroya. Who's a prominent YouTuber. I think he's like partnered with ArenaNet. He's like an official Guild Wars 2 YouTuber, streamer, whatever. So he basically replied saying, I found this really interesting, but I disagree a bit with some of the points that she'd made, where basically he was saying, I think it's really important that you have like dialogue choices and stuff, and that really fleshes it out for the player. And basically she replied saying, thanks for trying to tell me what we do internally, my dude. And then like quote tweeted him being a bit like, oh look, some jerk's trying to tell me how to do my job.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
And right, yeah. I'm with you. Like, kind of a not shitty thing to do, but certainly an unnecessary way to react to that. Like, he was really polite, and when she said that, he just said, "Oh, well, sorry if I've upset you. That's a bit disheartening, but whatever," and left it at that. And then basically, so that people started seeing this on Twitter and everyone started sharing it, and basically everyone started laying into Jessica Price. So another ArenaNet employee then sort of jumped to her defense, and basically they've just both been sacked. Like, they've lost their jobs for just being like.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because Mm-hmm. There's always this argument is that they should be able to say that, and they should be able to act this way, and they should be able to do that without losing their jobs. And I understand that. Why put yourself in that position? Like, why put yourself in that position?
Yeah, but getting fucking sacked for that.
Yeah, and I mean, she didn't threaten him or
insane.
anything. Yeah, you're right. And obviously the reason for the sacking is because he was an affiliate. Like, it must be. That must be it. Like, that he makes a lot of money.
What's
for the
really
company.
mad is that he's like, no, I didn't want this. This is absolutely insane. Like, he's been absolutely baffled by the fact that they've been sacked over it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tricky one. We don't know. We don't know the situation, what they were in, whether they were on their way out anyway.
I don't think it is tricky. Straw. I think it's just absolutely appalling.
We don't know. We don't know the history of the relationship between the company and these people, whether it was the first thing they did wrong. I don't know. We don't know that side.
She's been with the company just under a year. The guy that was sacked has been with the company for 13 years.
Right.
But their public statement is just, we strive to cultivate an atmosphere of transparency around the making of our games and encourage our teams to be involved in open, positive discussion with our community. Earlier this week, 2 of our employees failed to uphold our standards of communication with our players and fans, and they are no longer with the company. That is it. That's the statement.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me, based on what you're telling me, and nothing more, that seems incredibly harsh. It does. Yeah. I mean, unless they were abusing that person or really, having a pop at them,
I do think
it seems incredibly harsh.
I think her tweets originally were quite shitty towards him for seemingly no reason. Because as you said, Sean, he was quite polite. He said, I think your original tweet is really interesting. Here's a brief thread. But I
do think the way that
quite shitty. But I mean, I personally think hers were a bit shitty, and I think the company's overreacted. But it's just they should say, brush it under the carpet, and we'll move on. But
that's something fucking give them a disciplinary if you want.
Yeah,
but to just sack someone over it just seems absolutely insane to me.
I suppose a part of that as well is the hysteria of Twitter. It's that whole hold on, if an employee is putting us in this bad light or whatever. Then it reflects badly on the company.
But equally, they've now just weaponized a load of idiots on Twitter. Are like, oh, if a dev's rude to me, I can get them fucking sacked.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just nuts.
But
it's true.
I'm going to read the tweets. The tweets are, I think they're a bit fractious, to say the least. So she said, thanks for trying to tell me what we do internally, my dude. And the minutes later, she responded saying, today, being a female game dev, allow me, a person who does not work with you, explain to you how to do your job. That was a talking from the other person's point of view. Minutes later, she said, next, like the next rando asshat who attempts to explain the concept of branching dialogue to me as if, having worked in game narrative for a fucking decade, I've never heard of it, is getting insta-blocked. PSA. I mean, I think that's like needlessly shitty for someone who's just like, hey, it's interesting, and here's some thoughts. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't think she should have got fired for it, and the person defending her also shouldn't. She also tweeted saying, there's some other thing saying, since we've got a lot of hurt man feels here today, let me make something clear. This is my feed. I'm not on the clock here. I'm not your emotional courtesan because I'm just a dev. Don't expect me to pretend to like you here. I mean, it sounds shitty, but fundamentally, she shouldn't have got fired for it, I don't think. Unless, there's something in a contract where, if you're tweeting, you're sort of essentially on behalf of the company, you're a spokesperson for the company. But even so, that doesn't feel like a tackable offence, just, as you say, a warning, really. But yeah.
Well, this is it, isn't it? I mean, if she's tweeting as, being very open about who she works for, and then... It's just, why get yourself in that position? All right, it's okay to give it the, the usual, well, we should be able to say this, we should be able to do what we want, we're people, not employees, and blah, blah, blah. And I get that, I'm totally with you, and I wish the world acted that way, but in public is bad, in, written down in text on a tweet these days is worse. You've just got to be ultra sensitive about what you're putting out there. It's not as simple as just being on the internet anymore. It is your public persona.
You are spokesperson of every company, regardless of what you think. You are.
I'm lucky, I suppose, in the sense that, no one would care to hear me talk about my work on Twitter, even if I wanted to. Because so I can just divorce that completely. I'm never going to embarrass. I'm never going to represent my employer or say anything work related on Twitter because there's simply no interest in it. So in a way, that is nice because I can keep those worlds separate.
But Sean, so do you think if you went on, I guess, say if you started using the C word a lot on your tweets and were really angry in a lot of your tweets, do you think your work could ever find that on, say, what do you think you're doing, or are they just totally unengaged with that stuff?
I don't know, right? Because our work social media policies are basically nothing you do online can tie you to. Oh no, sorry. The way it's written is you can't identify yourself as an employee.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Which I always find really strange because I'm but if people can pick up 5 separate bits of information about you, they can probably piece it together. But is that your fault? I don't know is the short answer. I know the only incidents we've had at work where people have been disciplined about social media stuff is where they were on Twitter or Facebook slagging off the employer.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my employer, my buyer, but even if I didn't, I do, and I certainly wouldn't go off any crazy tirades because, someone works here and I think, what the fuck do you think you're doing? You're representing our company, you've got our company in your name, but even if I didn't, I still understand that that's not a good look to do. So that's why I don't swear a lot in my tweets, I barely swear unless England have won.
And people are probably screaming at us as saying, yeah, but, that's her private account and stuff like that. And I get that. And as I say, I'm totally with you and it should be like that. It just isn't. It isn't like that.
It's not these days,
Just don't put yourself out there in that way. You know what I mean? Just let things breeze over. What we do is either take it to DMs or you can't even do that anymore because people screenshot them and then post them everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose the other point is it wasn't a total randomer who was disagreeing with her. It was someone who plays the game a lot,
who is also employed by the sounds of it by that same company.
Yeah, in a roundabout sense.
Kind of
certainly in partnership.
Yeah. So to just go in sort of wanting a discussion and then to just be told to fuck off is a bit.
Yes, but at the same time, that's a pretty public firing, and I never think that's cool. Not in any situation. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because what you're doing there is you're also restricting future employment for that person, and I just think that's a nasty move. You know what I mean? Do it quietly, right? If they've genuinely broke the rules of their contract, do it quietly, and then fucking save them a future.
Yeah, it's ArenaNet are really proud of the fact that they've sacked these two people.
They're trying to get some points or something. Yeah. Okay.
Grim.
Good. Right, next.
That's it, mate. That's everything that happened this week. No, I was saying just before we recorded, there was a load of Fortnite stuff, but I literally couldn't understand a word of it. So
I'll go over the basics. I mean,
please do.
Basically, people have found
Fortnite translator Matt Murray. Here he comes.
Youth correspondent. Matt Murray.
Season 4 is currently happening, and in Season 4 there have been these...
Steve
actually, you must... I mean, you probably haven't, but I tweeted a video 2 weeks ago. It's basically this rocket launch, which had a massive countdown. So, okay, so at the start of Season 4, which is the latest season, suddenly, Dusty Divot had blown up, which is a location in the game. Beneath it was now a huge base, and there was like rockets and stuff in there. And then over the last week or 2 weeks, there was a countdown suddenly on that rocket. That countdown counted down, and the rocket basically came out of the bottom of Dusty Divot and went up into the air and was about to basically smash into Tilted Towers, which is the location that was rumoured previously was going to get blown up. And there were loads of amazing videos of people who were basically online at the time the rocket went up to watch the rocket. The rocket went up and it was about to hit this location, and then suddenly like a force field went around the location, and the rocket went all sorts of places and basically span out of control and blew out the map. And after that, there was these like crazy...
What I don't get, Matt... What I don't get... This is all during a game of Fortnite, right? So if a bunch of people were like just watching it, wouldn't you just like... start taking them out just as it was about to...
While this was happening, and there's like, obviously, probably millions of people online basically just stood watching this rocket in the air. And then there are some amazing videos. I think I tweeted around a week or two ago of following this rocket around the area. But basically, this one guy got the most amount of kills ever in the game of Fortnite, because loads of people, like 28 people, were watching this rocket on this like wooden platform they built to get a really good view, and he shot the platform out from underneath them.
I mean, that is just too good. It's too good.
So this guy broke the record because he shot everyone.
This game now is starting to sound like a game that was made by Peter Molyneux that doesn't lie. You know what I mean? Like an honest Peter Molyneux. Like, this is the sort of shit that he would spout on stage that would never be in the game.
Doing. So the rocket came up. It didn't blow up, and it basically flew up elsewhere. Then these cracks started appearing in the landscape. It's like it looked like essentially if you've got a cracked bit of glass, and then these cracks in. Okay. These cracks in like the environment. There was a few over like various locations. One of which was over his burger stand in Greasy Grove, and basically the burger in front of this shop in the location disappeared, and loads of things that have been sucked into these like little portals have been appearing in real life around the globe. So this guy, he posted videos in a desert, and he found basically the massive burger in front of his burger stand from the game, but in this desert in America. And there's been like llamas found in Europe and loads of other shit around the world. I mean, what the marketing team are doing at Fortnite is game changing. It's fucking mental. So loads of mad shit like that's happening, and basically Season 5 starts, I think, on Wednesday. So maybe the day you're listening to it on Wednesday, maybe it's Thursday. It's 2 or 3 days' time. Season 5 starting. There's a teaser out today. It's got a giant cat face and one of those cracks that we saw in the environment. Who knows? But yeah, Fortnite continues to do crazy things basically that no one else is doing.
Is there a decent website? Like, because I've played a bit of Fortnite recently because it's on Switch. So I thought I'd give it a go, and it's okay, don't get me wrong, I've never disliked Fortnite. What I will say is that, I can never get... I've been playing solos because it's pointless playing in with random squads, because they just do their own thing, completely ignore you every chance they get. I've been playing like solos, and I can never get higher than... I've finished 4th and like about 3 or 4 times, but when it gets to that point, it's just like, nah, the basic shooting skill gets you nowhere. Like, you rock up and there's like 14 forts in this tiny little circle with all sorts of shit going on, and you're just like, man, there's no point. I haven't got a chance, have I? And I die. But is there like a website that just keeps you up to date with all this stuff? Because I'd read that once a week.
Well, it's reddit.com. Basically,
right, okay,
the subreddit is just wild, as you would imagine. When again it blows up, it's just pure constant, and especially this time, where it's like the end of one season, the start of another. The rumours are flying around, especially when the rocket side thing happened. And in the last season, everyone assumed like this one location, Tilted Towers, was going to blow up, and yeah, and I think in the last season was when the TVs were appearing in the game, and static and llamas and all sorts of mad shit. I mean, yeah, what it's doing is just mind-blowing. I mean, the game's fun. I love the game, but the stuff we're doing around it is just insane, really. Yeah, it's a Fortnite still, I think.
I'm surprised, Sean, in the news, you haven't mentioned Summer Games Done Quick.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's fucking good. Did you see any of it?
Watching it?
I've watched a bit.
I watched the Mario Odyssey one.
God, I watched that after Spilt Milk. Andrew Smith tweeted us a link. I watched all of that. That was incredible.
Yeah, it was brilliant. But I haven't seen any of my favourite stuff yet, like the cringy and funny moments. You know what I mean? I love that stuff. Like, the famous one where someone puts their arm on the back of the chair, but he actually puts his arm around another bloke, and they both have a meltdown over it. The one you know that, Sean. You must have seen that.
I don't know if I have. No,
I'll send you a link.
Sounds
I mean,
good.
I've seen it about 1 million times in so many compilations. There's, the whole I really wish you'd be quiet right now one, which is just incredible.
Yeah.
The Mirror's Edge one from a couple of years back.
Oh, the glitchless one.
The the glitchless run on Mirror's Edge is just too fucking good.
Pretty sure it's fine.
Yeah, and obviously, you watch the follow-ups and stuff, and they're saying, no, they both knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
It was a wind-up. But regardless, it's fucking hilarious from both of them. So fair play. So I love it. It's not always to have a go at them, because I think what they do are incredible. Like, genuinely, I'm impressed by everything that they do on those things. It's not just raising the money. It's like the actual skill involved and the knowledge is not like, I can't take the piss out of it because it's too good. But it's just full of these wonderful little moments that you can only catch on Twitch. So yeah, I didn't know that this was going on. Stupid. It should happen every summer, obviously. But I hadn't heard you speak about it, so it completely passed me by.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a chance to watch much of it. What I've seen, personal highlight is the Celeste Tazbot run. Have you guys heard of Tazbot?
No.
So Tazbot is I always forget his name. You know that little NES robot? What was he called? Rob. Was it Rob?
Yeah, Rob, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, they've got one of the, I think the actual, Rob toy is sort of meaningless, but basically, so he's a little computer, and he's, directly wired into a game controller. And basically what they do is they program him to finish games, but, literally, frame by frame, every input. So he can do things that no human could ever pull off. Because he's got, he can do 60 button presses a second, basically, And yeah, holy shit, the Celeste run, if you've played any of Celeste and you just see the shit it does. Even though, it's not a person doing it, it's people, a team of people who've painstakingly gone through the game frame by frame and programmed every single move in, which is still quite impressive. But yeah, the stuff it does, you just look at it it's just skipping so much of the game. It's missing out entire platforms that you thought, or, puzzle elements and stuff that you thought were really important. And it's just just fucking flying through the levels.
Yeah,
and it can do, yeah, it's so good. And it just does loads of weird exploits that again, no human could ever input properly. So yeah, it's properly fascinating. In terms of, because obviously speedrunning, like you say, so much of it is about the skill, but obviously a lot of it is about this sort of weird manipulation of the mechanics, not necessarily using glitches, but just this really intimate working knowledge of how the thing works. And it's just that at another level entirely. So yeah.
I love the glitches. There's a Sonic one that I watch every now and then where the guy's just it's quite a funny one actually, because he keeps failing and he completely gives up halfway through and he's just dicking about and he's overly arrogant, but on purpose, he's fucking around. He's just I just did a one frame glitch there, but you can applaud at the end and all this sort of stuff. He's really funny. But yeah, there's so many moments where he just lines up the code in the right way and then Sonic just flies to the end. That's it. He doesn't actually need to play it. He just, because he's done this right combination, it's just he just flies over to the end. It's great.
I always love it when someone's doing a certain skip or whatever, and it's really hard to do and it takes them 10, 15 attempts or whatever. But they're just oh yeah, but it's worth me retrying it because once I get it right, it's going to save 30 minutes.
Yeah.
The Super Mario Odyssey one was brilliant. I mean, I think it's an hour and 8 minutes he does it in.
Cool.
And I mean, a lot. There was only 2 or 3 major exploits. A lot of the others were just chaining the moves together in a certain way. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing to see.
Well, it taught me. I didn't know when you were 3D Bowser, you could fire balls. Fireballs. I didn't know you could do that. I was hitting everything.
Yeah.
I thought, my God, what an idiot.
So quick with that stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Right, okay, let's get on to what we've been playing, and let's start with Matt this week.
Well, I've played a few things. I'm still playing Banner Saga, not as much as I'd like. Between the football and between the podcast, between us streaming 3 nights a week, I didn't play as much as I like, but I'm still getting through it.
What were you doing? What were you doing when you were streaming? playing games.
Yes.
Let's talk about those. Let's talk about them.
But the Bad Saga, it's still brilliant. It's something major happened in the story, and I don't think we're quite there yet, Sean, but I'm looking forward to talking to you about it when it happens. But yeah, cool. I'm still loving that. But in terms of streaming, we did a few streams, James and I, and the rest of us did, to try and G up some more interest in the Kickstarter towards the end. And we played Streets of Rage 2. It's a shame James isn't here to talk about it, because that is, by all accounts, one of his favourite games of all time.
Right, was it as good? Because I was watching that stream, and the feeling that I got was James going, it's like, when you're watching a film with a mate, what I mean? When Sean made us watch, what was that film?
Oh, Popstar.
I like that.
Popstar. Yeah. When you look in the corner of your eye and they're just like staring at you with a big grin in their face. It's like, very funny. I'm the same. I'm not taking the piss out of you. I'm exactly the same when I showed that film to my brother. But yeah, was it a bit like that? Because that's the feeling I got. Like, you were like, oh,
this is the first stream we've done since the Dark Souls one. So we started off with 15 minutes of audio issues, of like echoing audio. Once we got through that, we're about 20 minutes into the game, and then suddenly the game crashed, which was annoying, and then suddenly put us on edge. And then we played through, there's 8 stages. We got to, I think, middle of the 7th stage, and the game crashed again. And we didn't even finish the game. We were so devastated. Yeah, it had some weird, it felt like an old time bug. It wasn't like the game just like went to black and then it's like, okay, the Xbox is screwed up. It's like, it felt like
an old time bug.
Lost connection. I know what you mean. Had to like restart. Yeah. I don't know, whatever. Either way, livid.
It's like those old time bugs.
James was implying it was like a bug from the original one, and it was just, I don't know. Either way, it was fucking annoying.
Did you like it though? Like, was James overhyped?
It
would you put it down as one of the best games
it's a bit different because we're streaming it. I don't think I would play this game on my own if I had the choice. Although now, Jesus Christ, I want to finish it because we're so close to the end. But it was fine. There was a lot of
there's a wonderful moment in that stream as well, Sean, where James goes to Matt. So as you can see, this game parodies a lot of 80s action films. Can you guess what this stage was based on, Matt?
Yeah.
Matt went, I don't know, Alien? Yep.
That's it. Yeah. A lot of hidden references in this one, Matt. Don't know if you'll find it. It's Alien. Yeah. It's definitely Alien. The game was fine. I don't know. I don't have much of an opinion on it. It was fine. It was fun. I enjoyed streaming James, as I always do, and I'm sure we'll hear James's response next week. But yeah, it was fine. It was an old game for the Mega Drive. It was all right,
James, if you're listening to this, can you list out all of the films that parodies and just read them out without any comment? Just read out the films.
Next week's show. And, last week. So we played that. Well, we won't do more streams, but that's what we did that day. And on the second day of Christmas, on the Thursday, we played some Portal 2. So someone suggested this ages ago, and then someone also mentioned this at EGX, and then they mentioned it on the Streets of Rage 2 stream that we should do this. And so I picked up a copy of Portal 2. It's still like 15 quid on Xbox on the store, or 10 quid on CX. It's still like pricey for 15. But that still feels pricey.
That's not too bad.
Still feels pricey to me. Anyway.
But the solo game is worth it alone.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. And so I finished Portal 2 when it came out, just single player. I never played co-op. Emma said it was amazing. And we picked this up. And we probably did about 7 or 8 chambers, and it's still absolutely amazing. Actually, before we played co-op, I played some single player just to acclimatise to controls again. And yeah, sure, graphically it's not, you can clearly see it's dated since it came out in 2011, but like get the gameplay and like Stephen Merchant's like character in the game, and it still feels like a fucking excellent game. And it doesn't matter how old it is, it's still got that. And then graphically, yeah, sure, it's dated, but it's still more than adequate. It's more than passable. It's still lovely to see the environments. And I think obviously with that sort of stylized graphics, particularly in each test chamber, that I think that's harder to date. Like things like Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge still looks amazing now in 4K on Xbox because of the stylized graphics, the way it looks.
There's that, and there's the whole the puzzles are kind of timeless, aren't they? Yeah, you're not running around shooting mindless enemies like you would be back in those days. It's more. The puzzles are, it makes it a little bit more timeless, doesn't it?
It's just still immense fun. So, like I said, I never played the co-op, and I never did James, but even at the time, we heard it was amazing. And yeah, The first couple were getting a bit stuck, so we weren't quite understanding of what to do, and it'd been a while since we played Portal. But after a while, we started racking them up, and like the feeling of like when you get propelled through portals and then flown over the map, and then have to like shoot another portal, which that still feels absolutely brilliant. There's loads of these sections where there's like basically clearing an area where you have to put like a portal at the bottom and portal at the top, and then one if you have to go through, but there's like a little bit of a force field in the middle, which means you can't put your portals there. The other person has to shoot theirs there because you can go through theirs, and so on and so forth. So like James would have to shoot like a orange and blue portal. I would go through it's like basically both portals at the same time seemingly, so I'm generating loads and loads of speed, and then I would fire a portal somewhere else. It's just immense fun, and we're definitely going to go back and finish it and stream it sometime. I'm not sure when, but yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Portal 2 is still amazing to this very day, and I still want to go back and continue on with single player again because it's brilliant.
Controversial opinion. I didn't really like the goo stuff as much as many people did with that game.
I thought that was great when that was introduced. Right. Yeah, brilliant.
It was okay, and I was just a bit like, well, what else did I want them to do with it? Do you know what I mean? Like, it was either that or it just ended sooner. So. Fine.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but we're playing it and loving it. And like, why isn't there another one of these? Like, I know it's the classic Valve and game stuff, but like, why the fuck isn't there a Portal 3 and Left 4 Dead 3 and Half-Life 3? Yeah, it's devastating. But yeah, still amazing game, and we're going to go finish it sometime soon. And then on the Friday, we all streamed, us three streamed, in fact, Onrush. Yeah. So we can all talk about that, can't we? Because I've played it before. Dave's obviously played it before, and Sean...
I've played it once or twice. That's
am I right? No, but and then Sean's played it.
Does he drink?
Yeah, this is the first time, wasn't it, Sean? You playing Onrush? What did you think?
Playing it properly, yeah. So I played it with you guys at Reg, and I had a quick go on the open beta. But yeah, it was nice to be able to play it with mates online again. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's really good.
It really. Did you play it any more than that night?
I didn't know.
It's a shame because I think part of it was lost because we were conscious of people watching us. And yeah, I mean, it's not a great game to stream because, you're only seeing one side of it.
Yeah.
You can't properly get into the team chat because you know that's a little bit dull. Mm-hmm. So instead we would talk about pizzas for most of the night.
That was good. I like that.
Well, I've got a bit angry, Sean. If you don't know what we're talking about, check it out on YouTube. And it's kind of, when you play a game like that, it's when I've seen a lot of people say that after about an hour they feel that they're done with it and they've seen everything it has to offer and it's not grabbing them and stuff. But there's so many small details in the mechanics of that game that you need to wrap your head around before you fully understand what you're doing. Like I said to you at the time, Sean, you go through a phase of going, okay, this is weird because I'm not racing.
Yeah.
And then you hit the stage where you're going, everything I'm doing is fucking cool. And that's like when people say about Titanfall, it's not just about those grey cars, those sort of AI cars that you're smashing up. It's also that minute to minute when you're playing Titanfall, you're constantly doing cool shit. And that's what happens in this. Like you're doing those flips on top of people and taking people out and avoiding things like by a millimetre so you don't crash and stuff like that. It's full of these cool moments. And then once you get past that, you're like, okay, now I've got a favourite car. I know what I'm doing. I understand the game modes. Then you start understanding vehicles and you go from saying, this is my favourite car because I seem to be able to handle it better than the others, to going, well, I need to pick this car because not many people on my team are this car and this will help us in this way. And then you start realising the teamwork behind it and it starts to build like that. I went for a horrific phase just after that where I was taking it way too seriously and I was getting genuinely infuriated every time I got taken out. And then I broke through that barrier and I started, getting pretty good at it. And it was from that point where I was like, okay, all right, so I'm not always going to be teamed up with the best teammates, but I feel like I'm really making a difference for my team now. And you start understanding when to hit your on rush or how to do it, how to use your abilities and stuff like that. And that's when the game really hooked me. That's when the game went, okay, right, no, this is fucking brilliant. But yeah, I'm interested because you played it for like 2 hours or whatever on this stream.
Yeah.
But are you like even interested? Like, what's your price point now to go and pick it up?
I mean, I do want it. It is just the reality of actually having a group to play with. Do you know what I mean? because I feel like I've got my head around the modes and stuff, and they're really cool. But yeah, the barrier for me is like you're saying, that sort of next level of like actually thinking as a team and picking your classes properly and stuff. Like, realistically, am I gonna do that unless you all get it on the PS4? Which is a big ask.
This is what I'm saying. I'm so tempted. I am so tempted to double dip because I tend to do that with games I absolutely love. But the problem is that, you know, it's this thing we've been talking about for ages. It's not about cross-platform play. Like, I don't care if they say Xbox people can't play with PS4 people. I just want them to say, you know, all your unlocks and your levels and all that sort of stuff. If that carried over to the PS4 version, I'll probably go out and buy it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've built up a lot of shit on the Xbox version. To be able to just transfer that over to the PS4 and play along with you guys like that. That's what I'd want.
Yeah.
You know, that's worth a lot of money to me. So, you know, that in essence makes it more palatable to go and buy it again. Yeah. Or, well, I didn't buy it the first time, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Yes. So that's the only thing holding me back at the moment. I think if it drops like even further, then I think I'm just going to have to buy it again.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll just spend like a few weeks on it together because, I mean, I'm always up for a game of Onrush. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, the thing about Onrush is like, to look at, it looks fine, but it looks pretty generic. And I think screenshots and video and maybe streaming it also doesn't really do it justice because it looks pretty generic. It looks like it's a racing game with loads of weird stuff like Motorstorm, but it's not a racing game at all, really. And it's really about how it plays, much like you can't really communicate how well Destiny feels to shoot. Like, I think you can't really communicate how well this feels to play and how fun it is and, you know, the high-octane action. You can't really communicate that unless you play it yourself, so it's a bit of a harder sell, I guess. But, yeah, I hope a lot of people downloaded it and had great fun because it's still amazing fun. Even just those 2 hours we played.
And it's going to be free on Xbox soon for the weekend. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm sure we'll be, you know, talking about that when it rolls around again. Because the moment that happens, the moment they say it's free on Xbox for a while, firstly, we got a whole crew sitting waiting to try it out. Secondly, it's going to be filled with people that don't know how to play it.
Well, we definitely saw that on the weekend,
God damn, yeah, it was so good. The amount of times I just tapped the brake to let someone who wanted to smash me on the side fly past me and hit a brick wall was just so satisfying. It's hilarious. Just pump that brake. It's one of those, like, it's a racing game where you can use the brake to your advantage. Like, it's not, alright, you get that with like simulators or whatever, but in arcade racing games, you're very rarely hitting the brake unless you want to go into like a drifting thing around a corner. On this, it's like you can actually fuck with people. Just slam the brakes on, watch them fly past you into a wall, and you just feel like a god. Like, proper done them. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
And that's all. I'm still playing Pokemon Go a bit, but again, just the basics, and that's about it, really.
Okay. Well, I've been continuing with Lego The Incredibles. I mean, what I said last week still stands. I'm still really enjoying it, especially the open world parts. It's getting even more like in your face about how much more effort they put into the stuff based around the first film over the second. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. Like, we've been playing through the first film again, and it's like the environments look stunning. There's so much to do in each level. It's the complete polar opposite to the second film stuff. Like, even in the second film stuff, it's got boss battles that you fight in the open world bit. And it's kind of like, this is the same boss battle, it's just a different skin. on the stuff based around the first film, it's like, it feels like all built for that film. Yeah. Like, it's incredible. Oh, fuck off, Dave. I've avoided saying that throughout that whole thing and now I've dropped it. I mean, Harry and I have both been loving it. We've not been playing 2-player, we've just been passing the pad. Okay. But I've been going from area to area. We've got like 3 more Pixar bits to build. And it's some of that stuff is like, even Joe turned around and said, this is mental. Why are they not showing off all this Pixar stuff? Because it makes it so much more appealing. She said, I don't really like The Incredibles, but seeing you walk around as Sully, Lego version of Sully is fantastic. And I'm like, yeah, this is all in there. And Harry is just getting obsessed with us clearing areas around the open world city and then building these Pixar builds. We're loving it. Absolutely loving it. But the main game I've been playing this week is I sort of alluded to it before. It's a strange one. The embargo lifted today. It's out. As we record today, so that was Monday just gone. It's out Tuesday, what is it, the 10th tomorrow? Yeah. So Tuesday the 10th. So it's already out by the time you're hearing this. It's called The Spectrum Retreat. And now I played this at Res, and you watched, Sean, and it looks at first glance like a Portal clone, right? Mm-hmm. It's a 3D, it's a first person puzzler. You're in various different chambers. In this game, instead of setting portals down, you're sucking up colours and putting them on different colour blocks. And there's like sort of colour-coded force fields. So you can only get through certain doors if you've got the right colour. The puzzles themselves, they make up, obviously, a large part of what you're doing in the game are these puzzles. But I remember the person that showed it to me at the expo said, well, there's this whole, what you've played there is a bit of the puzzle bit, and there's a whole narrative around it. So I'm like 4 hours in now, 4 or 5 hours in, and last night I turned around, like I sort of thought to myself, this might be up there with Game of the Year for me. Yeah. Like, just unbelievable. So the embargo's lifted today, and I was really looking forward to seeing what other people thought of it, if they were into it as much as I was. And it's been getting 7s, so I'm a little bit worried that it doesn't maintain this stuff. Maybe it falls off a cliff at some point. But I am totally wrapped up in this game. So the idea is, the basic premise, and I'm going to really dance around the issues because at times this feels like Gone Home or something like that. It feels like a walking simulator. And then you go into these sort of puzzle areas. You're in the puzzle areas for quite a while, and then you come back out into this environment. So it's based in a hotel. The hotel's filled with robots, so the robots are looking after you, and it soon becomes apparent that this hotel isn't just a hotel. There's some weird shit going on, and things are a little bit like Groundhog Day. So you wake up and you're not necessarily doing the same day over and over again. Mm-hmm. Things change, but there's a cycle, and you're setting that cycle off by performing actions that you've done every morning when you've woken up. Mm-hmm. And things slightly change. You get in contact with a character that is trying to explain what's going on around you and your mission and why you're there. But it uses some of that hokey writing techniques where it's kind of like, look, I want to explain to you, but it's best you find out yourself. You really need to find it. You know, it's like that sort of stuff. Yeah. It's like, you can fucking tell me what's going on, but you're holding it off because you want to reveal towards the end. Yeah, I get it. It's just a little bit shit the way it's written. Mm-hmm. The first thing you've got to say is that the voice acting in this is some of the best I've heard in a game ever. Yeah. Right? The person that plays your companion throughout the game, is superbly voice acted. Like, I genuinely, I was blown away. I was like, this sounds brilliant. Like, as we know, when it comes to entertainment like this, if they were speaking normally, like we all speak day to day, it wouldn't work because it'd sound weird because we're so accustomed to, you know, films and overacting and, you know, all that sort of stuff. This is a beautiful balance between talking like a normal person but also not like falling into that weird sounding, like, because if you sound too natural, then you can picture that person in the sound booth. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's that sort of disconnect there. There's none of that. The way she talks to you completely wraps you into the narrative in this game. It touches on themes that seem a bit not obvious or easy, but like a bit. Yeah, I suppose it is a little bit on the nose, right? And they really overplay it. But it's a subject that's not covered in games. So for some reason it really grips you, and the way it slowly builds this sort of subplot along with the main plot of why you're there and why you're doing this stuff. There's this stuff in the background. That's just, it's just incredible. Like it's all done through The idea is that you don't remember life before living in this hotel, and you're slowly getting your memories back, and that some of it's done with, voiceovers, and you're hearing like sort of ghosty sort of chat, echoey chat in the background and stuff like that. Some of it's reading letters on tables within the puzzle chambers and stuff like that. So although it takes huge breaks from the narrative progressing, there's still bits within the chambers to focus on and sort of read more about the story. There's one chamber that I've just done recently that while you're doing it, there's a sound effect playing that almost had me in tears throughout. Like, it absolutely, totally blew me away the way. And again, it's a little bit on the nose and a little bit obvious, but the combination of doing a puzzle with that going on in the background was really distressing, really distressing. Not in a manipulative way, but personally I didn't find it a manipulative way. It was just a very interesting juxtapose of this horrible thing that had happened and you doing a puzzle at the same time. It really I even had to turn it up to make sure that that's what it was doing, and it wasn't just in my head, and it was in the game. And I'm like, holy fucking shit, I can't believe they're doing this. So it's although the puzzles themselves, that I have got a few problems with the puzzles. The puzzles themselves are one of those sort of puzzles where you know what to do, but to carry it out, it's a little bit like, not tricky, but a little bit like, okay, I've got to get the blue from here to over here. I know what I'm doing. I wish I could do this a lot faster, but I can't. I'm walking down corridors and, you see the solution way before you carry out the actions, which is a bit of a pain. It also does this really horrible thing that I hate in these sort of games where you can get stuck and you've got to restart again from the last checkpoint. And the reason why that's bad is because there are also times where you're stuck because you don't know what to do, right? But because you know that this is a game where you can get stuck, you're more likely to hit reset when you don't need to. Maybe you just haven't seen the solution yet, but because you're used to resetting, you're going, nah, I'm stuck. There's nothing I can do. So you restart regardless without properly thinking through the puzzle. Yeah. And that stuff's shit, man. Like, I'm sure Portal does that a couple of times as well. I could be wrong, but I'm sure Portal does that a couple of times where you fucked it so badly you need to restart. And that stuff shouldn't be in puzzle games like this, and it is here, and it's used quite a bit later on.
That must bring you out of the experience, especially with it's a narrative game. So that must.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't affect the narrative in any way. It's more that
it must bring you out of the experience if you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, because you're just like, I don't want to restart. I want to be able to. There should be systems in place that avoid you from getting into a situation that you can't get out of. So that's a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a shame. But all I'm saying is that maybe I've got like an hour or two left, I think, just based on, some of the reviews I read today. I can't wait to see where it goes, because I've got an idea. The main theme that it's going to touch, like the main storyline, the main plot, and where that's going. I think that's pretty obvious. However, it's already screwed me a couple of times where I'm kind of like, whoa, hold on. It's like, I thought this was happening and now that's definitely not happened. So where's it going now? It's just completely roped me in. The story's completely roped me in, and I'm enjoying the puzzle stuff. So far for me, this is like right up there. If it maintains it and it finishes on a high, or not high is probably the wrong word, but if it maintains the quality of narrative until the very end, then it's going to be on my list at the end of the year, because I'm really enjoying it. It's $9.99. It looks really polished, and some of the puzzles are really well played out. And then when I read it was $9.99, I was thinking, fucking hell, mate, that is a bargain. Even if it falls off a cliff at this point, what it's done up to this point has been so good that I think it's totally worth a tenner. Also, man, the fucking walking around that hotel is horrific. Like, not in an openly, me, I'm like Sean, I don't like scary games, I don't like jump scares, I don't like any of that stuff. It doesn't do that. It's so eerie with these robots just standing there. They haven't really got a face, they haven't got eyes or anything, but knowing that they're there is just freaky, and it plays on that quite a few times. where you'll turn around and there's one standing behind you and you're like, whoa, what the fuck are you doing here, mate? Like, it's just like one of those sort of situations. But never feels like it's taking the piss with that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're playing Until Dawn where like it's just jump scare after jump scare. There's a lot of building up and they earn those moments that you know, put you, not necessarily like make you jump and scared. It just puts you right on edge.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't really like, I'll tell you this. Like, so for ages, every robot you're meeting is your mate because they're working in this hotel. And the first time you get caught doing something you're not supposed to be doing within your cycle of the day, there's just one there's just one in the corner watching you, just going, "What are you doing in here? You're not supposed to be here." And it's like, that isn't scary. You know, if that had happened within the first half an hour, it'd have been laughable. But because you'd gone through an hour or two of everyone being nice to you and then just hearing that change in tone.
And the mask flips. Yeah.
Completely froze you. And it doesn't chase after you. It doesn't scream. It doesn't like, you know, turn red or something. It just, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. It's like, whoa, God, that is horrible. And it plays on that stuff. And I'm very excited to see where it goes. I was really bummed out when I saw the reviews were getting like 7s because I was like, holy shit, this is going to be big. Like, this is going to be one of those, you know, towards the end of the year, there's always that indie game that people were talking about. I thought this was going to be it. And, if it carries on like this, then I'll be talking about it a lot.
Cool. I'm really relieved to hear that it, like, the whole story stuff and the hotel and everything is like a really big presence in it, because I like seeing you playing it at Rezzed. Like, it looked fine. But kind of, I don't know, sterile, I suppose is the word. And then reading, reading that it was coming out, and it's like, oh, it's this game that it's set in a hotel, and I was like, what? Is that the same? Yeah, is that the same game?
I was the same. Because we got the press release said we would like to invite you to such and such hotel, and I thought, what is this, like a
press
game
junket
launch thing?
Yeah,
it's like a press junket, and it was like, no, that's just where the game's set. And I'm like, no, I've played this game. It's not set there.
It's just all in
these
white boxes and
areas.
lasers and that. But
yeah.
So no, I'm glad to hear that. Even though it sounds like it's maybe a bit of a mixed bag, I'm glad to hear that is a presence in the game, like the whole hotel thing. So yeah, no, I'm intrigued.
I mean, I'm trying to talk around it because I don't want to spoil anything.
No, it's fine. I mean, if it's a tenner, then I'm going to check it out. So
I think you should, because of some of the stuff that it talks about is so relatable. Not only for America, like it's set in America, it's also really relatable to like what's happening over here as well. And it's kind of like, holy shit, this is it's drumming that point home a little bit too hard, but it does it well enough for it to really have an effect. And yeah, God, Jeff, it's just, for a tenner, man, you got to pick it up. Because, I mean, even if you're into puzzle games alone, it's like, it does enough to make it interesting. There are, obviously, as I've said, the flaws to it, and some of the puzzles are a little bit too basic. I'm not really totally got stuck on it yet.
Actually, I'm all right with that, though.
Yeah, I know, because, I mean, I was going back to Portal 2, the latter part of that, as you know, one of the reasons I didn't like the gel stuff so much is that it completely lost me at one point, and I was kind of like, I really don't know what to do here. Like, I really don't know what to do, and it's bumming me out. But then Portal had more moments where I'm going, I'm a genius for working this out, and I haven't had that ultimate high with this.
Right, yeah, okay, fair enough.
It's very sort of, you can see what you need to do, so you carry out and you do it. But yeah, I mean, bloody hell. The voice acting, some of the best I've heard in a game. Story interesting, puzzles decent. Like, it's so far, I'm loving it. I can't wait to see where it goes. It feels like I'm heading towards the end.
What's it on?
So, well, I'm playing on PS4. I think it's out on Xbox, and I think it's out on Switch as well.
Yeah, because I was thinking I was sure it was supposed to be coming out on Switch. I mean, if it is, then brilliant.
Yeah, I'd like to see how it runs on Switch.
Yeah?
It's run pretty solidly on my PS4 Pro, thankfully. But there has been a couple of moments where it's slowed down a little bit. So I'm thinking, what must this be like on Switch? I've got a feeling it'd be perfectly playable in handheld mode.
Yeah,
like it feels like it would play well.
I
on
imagine
that.
it's like 60 quid on Switch, is it?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably. But I would, if you liked Portal and you don't mind games taking stuff from that, because that's what it does, it's got that very definite Portal feel, then give this definitely.
That does sound right
go.
up my street.
Definitely.
Yeah, sounds good.
It's good, Matt. It's good, and well, from what I've played so far, it's good. I can't wait. I mean, I'm sure I'll talk about it next week when I've finished it and see if it's lived up to everything it's built up so far. But I'd be surprised. It's it's got bits of PT in there without being too
Tell
crazy.
Me that. Fucking hell.
No, I will.
No, it's not like
you almost had me in a day.
not the horror.
Almost had me.
Not the horror parts of PT, but just like walking down corridors and things changing. The weird shit. It's definitely more of a thriller than a horror. If you know what I mean. Cool. Yeah, really, really well done. So I can't wait to play more of it. Really can't. It's gonna be good.
Nice one.
Could be good. And that's it. That's it for me this week, Sean.
I've only got a few short ones to be honest. So playing more Banner Saga, really enjoying it. I mean, I guess once me and Matt have both finished it, I guess we'll both talk about it a bit more fully because we're sort of worried about spoiling things. But again, just as I said last time, just really enjoying how tight the loop is between combat and story bits. Like the frequency that it flips between the two is just so good. Like you never. Neither bit outstays its welcome at any point.
Yeah, it sort of keeps it on knife edge. So I'm like, I'm like most of my crew are dead, or I'm not doing terribly well in a battle. So maybe this is a good time, and then that's when like a story bit will come in. I'm like, oh, for goodness sake, thank God I can. Or maybe there's a big bit of traveling, and I'm desperate to get to a city or town to, level up my people or get some supplies. So it keeps the pacing is perfect in that respect.
Yeah, and but it clearly enjoys fucking with it as well, because you can, for the first part of the game, it's pretty much like combat, camp. You're always like, right, okay, we've had a fight. Now we can, if anyone's injured, we can rest up, level my guys up, etc., etc. But then sometimes it's like, no, you got to do like a bunch of fights, and the story bits in between. You're making decisions, but it's like, no, we've got to keep moving. Like we can't just stop and rest. Those bits feel like really sort of gritty and desperate.
I presume you got to the section where you can decide whether you want to fight or retreat and that sort of stuff in battles.
Yeah, those decisions get really interesting.
Yeah.
Loving that. There's another one I played. I forgot to put this on the plan because I only played the demo of it, and there's not a huge amount to say. So this is on the Switch. It's from the Japanese eShop. It's called Gal Metal, and it's the new game from Tak Fuji. Of.
XXX or YYY, you will be sucked.
Of that fame. And it's his new game. And it's a rhythm game.
I thought he quit the industry. Didn't he quit the industry not too long ago?
He quit and then he started doing VR stuff for a while. And now he's...
That's essentially quitting the industry, to be fair. Yeah. Sure.
And now he's bringing this game out. So there's a demo on the Japanese eShop. I gather it is coming over here in like autumn-ish.
Can you just confirm something about the Japanese stuff? So I know it's very easy to create another account and whatever, but I never did it because I read when people were first doing it that if you do that, your news section is just filled with Japanese text. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, not that I'm not reading it every day, but it's still a bit annoying.
What, on the Switch?
Yeah.
Have you not got an American account?
No, no. I didn't bother that either.
So it does the same thing. You see loads of the same news twice, don't you?
Yeah, but but
at least it's all in English.
It should be S's, It really does my nutting.
But
they keep saying that everything is awesome.
Oh my God!
Just
take the demo.
But it's
Mario.
It's a rhythm action game where you you hold the two Joy-Cons and there you it's just drumming, and you just drum with the two Joy-Con, and it's good. It feels really good. Like literally, it's so simple. So basically, your right Joy-Con is that's basically the kick drum. Not that that's how you use a kick drum in real life, but whatever. And then the left one's your snare. And then if you hit them both at the same time, it does like a cymbal crash. And it is really simple, but it is kind of just enough to feel quite good to drum along the songs and occasionally just go and hit the cymbals. And basically, all it seems to be, and again, this is not being able to read any of the text and playing one level from the demo, is that it just has a load of just drum patterns. So there'll be one that's just like snare, 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 one that's like drum, snare, and then they get more complicated. And basically it just plays a song for a bit and you just fucking improvise. And you just basically, the more complex patterns you do, and the more you sort of alternate between different ones, but like the more consecutively do without fucking them up, you build up points, and it's really good fun. In order to actually pay money for it, there's going to need to be more to it. But yeah, like as a demo, really good fun.
So these are like little challenges rather than playing full songs.
Well, it's so basically it plays a song that is just like a really steady, just 4/4 like beat the entire time. So there's like the song itself is quite boring, but then obviously it gives you loads of room, like as the drummer, to just fuck around and like improvise and switch between all these different drum patterns.
Okay.
So yeah, it's pretty good fun. I want to know what else there is to do in it, because there has to be something else, because there's just not enough to it otherwise. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that coming out, and hopefully it's decent.
Does he incorporate any HD rumble? Has any game incorporated HD rumble other than 1, 2,
I mean,
switch?
HD in what sense? Like, yeah, they go when you tap the drum. So
that's more than most games. So
yeah.
I mean, Matt, what was it? Tumbleseed did.
Yeah.
And what is it? Mario Kart 8, when it makes the coin sound.
Yes.
Like, it literally makes a different noise when you pick it up as well. Yeah. That freaked me out the first time I had it on mute. And it just was like, and I'm like, what the fuck is on mute? And I realised it was the HD Rumble making that shit. A couple of notes I've written down during that. Yeah. The first being you talking about playing a Japanese game like that reminded me of when I played Uandan, which was obviously Japanese. And you look at it, you look at the menu, and the first time you're playing it, you're just trying to get to a game. Like, it's almost impossible to do it. And then you hit one menu option, and then just like a screen of Japanese text come up, and you're like, hit me again, that's not right. And the second, going back to Americans saying Mario instead of Mario, right? How many times have you listened to this argument on American games podcasts, right, where they go, well, who says Mario? Oh, the British say Mario. Oh, Mario. Peach says Mario in the game, and I'm screaming at my iPod going, because she's voiced by an American in the game. You fucking idiot. Sorry, American.
Do you know who else says Mario? Italians. Move on.
They sure it's not Super Mario, they say, Sean.
Yeah, they do. It depends whether he's got his hat on.
Dave, what was that quote that the Beastcast said this week about the football?
Hold on, let me find it. The thing is, right, I said on Twitter, because like after I tweeted that, we had a few people going, oh, fucking idiots, and I just thought, you can't have a go at them. They just didn't know about it, you know what I mean? Like, you really can't. They're not into that sport or whatever. But the quote was, where is it? It's here somewhere. Sorry, I've got loads of tweets after.
Do you want me? I've got another short one to talk about. Do you want me to just do that and then?
No, yeah, I've got it. From the Giant Beastcast today, quote, I wanted the British versus Colombia overtime kicking to go on forever. Overtime kicking.
Wow.
Also British.
And then they had a long discussion about the difference between Great Britain and the United Kingdom, to which they come to the conclusion that the United Kingdom was England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland, and Great Britain was the whole of the Commonwealth, which at the moment is just England, Scotland, Wales and Ireland. But yeah, as I said, like people are having a pop at them, but you know, try and get me to talk about America. I ain't got a fucking clue, mate. I haven't got a clue. Right, go on.
Yeah, just a quick one. Playing Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered Edition. See what they've done there. It came out. Do you know what? A, it came out. B, if you own the game on Steam, you've got the remastered one.
You got it for free, yeah.
I did not know that. That's it. It's just really nice, because how many times have games done this and it's like, nope, you got to pay. And if you're on the PC, it's basically you're just paying for a fucking patch. Yeah, so I've only played about half an hour of it. All I'll say is, to be fair, yes, the shooting has aged terribly. Like, there's no aiming down sights or anything, and which I know, like, there shouldn't have to be. Like, plenty of games managed without for a long time before Call of Duty did it. But
we're past that now.
We are.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it just
you don't realise how much you need that.
Yeah, it just feels very floaty and inaccurate and weird. Maybe it just takes some getting used to. But yeah, like certainly, like that is the first thing you were like, oh fuck, this came out in 2008 or whatever it was.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's with aiming down the sights. It's not necessarily about hey, I get to it's the two different speeds of aiming. Like it's two completely different speeds of aiming. You could be, it's like slowing the crosshair down a little bit to have a better accuracy.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like we're so used to it now that it's weird when games don't have it.
Yeah. So there's that, but the destruction stuff is still really fun so far. Just chucking little mines and blowing up towers and whacking them with a hammer and shit. So I mean, whether or not I actually stick with it long term, we'll see. But yeah.
So what are you playing it on PC or Switch? PC, I guess.
It's not on Switch.
Oh, wasn't it? Oh, right.
Which is a fuck up. Yeah, that would have been amazing, but but difficult to justify the expense if I already had it on PC. That said, wouldn't be the first time. So,
what game modes are you playing?
You're sorry?
Like, are you just playing the normal story?
Literally, like I say, I literally just spent half an hour, so I just stuck the campaign on, and I'll be interested to see if it gets much of a following on the multiplayer side though, because that was pretty good fun too. But
yeah, like the campaign wasn't that good, was it?
Yeah, it was all right.
Like the main draw was the competitive game mode.
Yeah, so the multiplayer was proper good because you each had those, like you had those little backpacks which were basically like your classes because they just had all these abilities. One that just lets you one's like a jetpack, but then one lets you just fucking like charge forward through buildings and people.
Yeah, it felt like Blast Corps.
Yeah, that was really good fun. So yeah, I'm intrigued. I hope it does get a bit of attention on the multiplayer side of things because that would be cool to be able to get back into that. But I mean, we'll see. Well, that's it from me.
That's fun.
Wow, we're done.
Yeah, just going. Oh no, hang on. We've got questions from people. Do I have to? I mean, I did the news, so I don't really see why I should have to. Fucking James, mate.
Come on, mate.
James
Put
Farley.
a double shift in,
right.
make him feel guilty about
We've had an email from Stu W. He says, thanks to your recommendation. Stu W. He didn't have his surname on it.
Well, this is SMW.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. It says, thanks.
It's got a lot of names.
Thanks to your recommendations, I bought Yoku's Island Express last week and spent the weekend utterly hooked. Last night I managed to 100% the game and get all 31 achievements. Completing games at all, let alone 100%ing them, is a very rare thing for me these days. What was the last game that you all got totally hooked on and couldn't stop until you'd seen every last thing? Cheers, Stu.
Yoku's Island for me. It was, last week we finished, it was 2 weeks ago, we've 100%ed that. I suppose, though, if before that it was Super Mario Odyssey, I had to do everything. And even now I still boot it up to make sure that I've got all the costumes, because they're still releasing new ones. But yeah, I mean, I very rarely get the opportunity to do that. I just wake up and Harry's going, look, Mario's in a new costume. Oh, all right, okay, did you buy that? Yeah, on my profile, good, fine. So I've still got 100% on that game. But yeah, that game, I genuinely had to track down everything in it. I loved it so much. Yeah. Just the movement and control was enough to keep me playing.
I'm trying to think the last game I actually got 100% on, and I'm struggling.
You never even got to the proper ending of Mario, did you?
I'm shite with Mario. Mate. I mean, I think probably Breath of the Wild was the last one where it's like, I'm just going to have an afternoon on this, just finding treasure chests. I'm just going to put...
Oh, God, it's good that that's still there. Yeah. Like, as I said, I spent more time after completing it than I did to get to that point. And it was just incredible to just go, I wonder what that is on the map.
Yeah.
And then you go over there and there's like a whole town that you've never been to.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, that was absolutely class for that stuff.
But no, the last thing I actually...
But then finding every Korok seed.
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, that's never happening. I can't think what the last thing I actually got everything on was.
I suppose the obvious answer for me is Night in the Woods. Next question. No, I mean, it was Dark Souls. I mean, I didn't 100% that game, but I had to make sure I completed I killed every boss, every optional boss. Mm-hmm. I grinded loads of souls to get into the
of course.
God,
you did.
I didn't want to leave anything in that game that was possibly optional. I didn't want. I wanted to make sure everything was done, just because I didn't really want it to end.
Because I never did the DLC. Now I feel like I have to go back.
You've got to. Artorias is just.
Did you look up much of the lore afterwards, Matt?
No, I watched some videos.
It's weird that you didn't get into it. It's such a big thing.
But it's different because I was streaming it. I just so much of it just passing by, and I mean, if I played it again and started again, I maybe would get more into it. But so much of it is just I just went from place to place, and that's the only bad thing about streaming it, is that it wasn't the experience that maybe I would have had. It's a totally different, and I loved the experience. So don't get me wrong, it's amazing to be a part of and to do it. But it's definitely a very different experience because I was,
Yeah, but you wouldn't have completed it without streaming.
No, there's no way. There's no. I mean, I point. But if you said, please, you've got to complete it. No, probably not. You're right.
Please. Could you imagine if I said, please, you've got to complete it?
You got to complete it, man.
If you'd have said to me, please, you've got to complete it. Then,
say.
I might have done
Just
it.
say that and I'll do it.
But instead, you didn't say the magic word.
Not in the woods. Like, if you had, I would have finished it.
please.
You got to complete it.
Let's try it. Matt, do you play Witcher this week?
And next question.
Please, you've got to complete it. Please.
That's my kryptonite. Don't do it.
Anyway, that is it from the emails. If you want to email us, if your question is just too fucking nuanced for Twitter, it's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com.
Before you go on to tweets, if Matt ever tweets out a game now, if he talks about a game on Twitter, please,
you got to complete it.
Send him a tweet that just says, please, you got to complete it. Please do that. You got to tweet him.
You got to complete it.
Right, tweets. If you want to tweet us, it's @ComputerGamePod on Twitter. Kurt Lewin @angry_Kurt. He says, when the weather is hot, do you sleep under or on top of the covers? I'm being treated like a mad person by my friends for sleeping on top. Also, you got any tips for keeping the house cool other than shutting the curtains during the day?
Now.
Yeah,
I sleep under. I sleep under. I told you, I like baking.
That's insane behaviour.
Oh my God.
I love it. I woke up last night wet, and I was like, yes,
horrible.
This is good.
Like, even
I love
it doesn't, basically, literally just me
I pissed the
lying
bed
on
again.
my bed. Literally just me lying on my bed. I already feel disgusting because I'm too hot. Oh my God. Under the covers in this weather.
But what about bugs and that? Ugh.
Bugs?
I just put the
What?
bugs and that,
bugs and that?
They get in your room. Like, you you put the windows open, fucking bugs crawl in. I don't want them all over me while I'm sleeping. I'd rather be under the covers. They can walk around
the
on the
bugs can
covers.
get under the covers, Dave.
No,
they still get on your face and in your eyes
mouth.
and your nose and your mouth.
Not the smells that I leave under that duvet. It's the fucking Dutch oven under there, mate. Forget about it.
I literally don't know how you do it. I mean, I hate the summer because I just don't sleep as well. It takes me ages to get sleep.
Yeah, I can't.
I feel disgusting 24/7. I mean, which is probably the same as ever. But it's just like I'm so hot all the time. It's just oh God, I can't do it.
I'd rather be way too hot than way too cold.
Because
I hate cold.
But when it's cold, you can always put more clothes
you
on.
can always get warmer.
No, you can't.
You can always get warmer. You can't get less hot unless you have like 50 fans next to you.
Honestly.
Right, so the problem with winter, like, okay, in defence of summer and defence of it being
someone's
too hot,
defending summer.
At least, yeah. I love supporting the underdog. Like, at least it's consistent, whereas the thing with winter is, like, you go outside, you put loads of clothes on, and then as soon as you get to, like, work or whatever, as soon as you step in, oh, fucking hell, it's boiling! You're like, fucking pulling your scarf and your coat off.
But the thing is though, people go, oh, are you cold? Put a coat on. So you put a coat on, and then you're just cold in a coat. Like, it's just...
No, the coat warms you up, Dave.
You just need to get a better coat, Dave.
Yeah, but it warms you up after fucking ages. You're still fucking shivering. It's not like
a coat.
Matt, you don't just put a coat on and then all of a sudden you're like,
well, you're
that's
definitely
better.
warmer if you're a bit chilly. Like when you put a jumper on, if it's a little bit cold anyway, I feel fine now.
I wore gloves for the first time since I was a kid this winter, and my fingers were still like frozen. That feeling of when your toes are like so cold you can't feel them is one of the worst feelings in the world. I'd rather be sweaty.
Oh,
big sweaty mess.
This issue with summer is just like the fact that I need like 50 showers a day. I don't like it. And as I said on the stream, I have a lot of stand-up showers. At work. What I mean by that is...
Yeah, he stands in there with a microphone telling jokes.
For years, I've always called them stand-up showers. What I mean is like when you go to the toilet at work, you have to like put some soap under your armpits.
You just wash your balls in the sink.
And that as well. But although we do have showers at work, so maybe I could use them instead. But I guess what I mean to say is sink. I guess what I mean to say is sink.
Imagine that in the shower going,
I'm doing it all the time.
so what's up with these airplane food?
Just walking into the shower and then just sitting down and just being like...
Sitting down and
the
crying.
sound works.
Yeah.
And I have to do a lot of them. It's just annoying.
Yeah. Tips for keeping the house cool. I mean, I've got nothing. My house is our house has got damp, right, which sort of helps during summer. It keeps it a bit cool. But upstairs is just fucking horrible.
Keeping the curtains shut and just then when it goes and smash the fountain. I don't know. I mean, if anyone's got an answer, please let us know because it's hell right now.
Well, do you reckon? I'll turn the oven on.
Have you seen America? The temperatures in America are 115 degrees. That is insane. At night, I saw someone on Instagram the other day, 105 degrees at night. I mean, we think it's bad here. Yeah.
I mean, when do you reckon, how many more summers like this is it going to take for, normal people to be like, I might have to put aircon in? Because I've no idea.
God, no, because this is a rarity. Yeah. Usually we get this for 2 days, and then it just thunders for a month.
Yeah, it is. It is amazing. Yeah. I mean, global warming's, people complain about it, but...
I'm all for it.
It's not all bad.
Matt, I got 2 cans of Lynx out the other day, walked out into the garden, just sprayed them into the air. Come on!
So what?
Let's give it another day.
You don't actually use Lynx, do you?
Oh, yeah, why not? Just not Africa, because that stuff is... What?
This is like when I...
What do you use?
I actually don't use deodorant, but that's
don't use deodorant. Fucking hell!
Sorry, what?
Stand-up showers and now this.
Yeah, we'll say that basically when I was young, my mum basically banned it because she got headaches really badly. She had what she said was a really sensitive nose, and so therefore wasn't allowed deodorant.
You don't live with your mum anymore, Matt.
She can't tell you what to do anymore, Matthew. You're a grown man.
I'm not going to say, brilliant, I can buy my first can of Lynx Africa at the age of 22.
Don't you fucking reek.
No. I don't. I actually think my it's going to sound shitty now. I actually think my body sort of got used to it, and I mean, maybe that's why I'm doing a lot of that stand-up.
It's just
there's one part of your body that's used to it, and it's your nose. Everyone else.
It's just like when people get dreadlocks, and they're like, no, you don't have to wash them. They just washes itself with the grease.
No says that.
Yeah, I am actually cutting the office, actually, probably.
But no, I'm...
please use deodorant, please.
No, I'm an Old Spice man, mate.
Oh,
yeah.
What?
Good shit.
I can't see because my dad had that, so there's no way I can put that on because it just smell like a grumpy old man.
Dave, that you moaned at me because I said you were old school because you bought a razor or something. Do you remember that?
Yeah, no, because I don't use electric razors. I use a normal.
No, I've never liked electric ones. They freak me out.
Yeah,
apart from the Philips One Blade, which is a excellent piece of kit.
All right, isn't your contract with them over?
Every show, Sean, you're obsessed. It's like Farley and Juice.
All right, next question.
Oodles at Oodles O'Quim.
Hello.
He says, when I see people that don't like football being bored of the World Cup, it makes me think of me with esports. I'm just not into them. Is there anything everyone else seems to love that you guys just don't understand?
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's fair.
Game of Thrones.
You never watched it, have you, Dave?
No, but it's on me. I'm not having to go at anyone else. It's just one of those things. And I suppose that's it. You see everyone going mental about it on Twitter, and I'm like, I sit in the corner and go, oh, you know what I mean?
Would you ever find
I was part
I know you always mock me for not liking things that are popular, but to me, it's just if enough people talk about something before I've had a chance to see it myself, I'm just like, well, it's been bigged up too much in my head now. It's never going to measure up.
Yeah, it colours your opinion of it big time. Yeah, totally. I mean, there's that's probably why I haven't sat down and watched a Star Wars film, because how the fuck do you get into that now?
Oh yeah, if you saw the first one, you're just like, is that it? Is that what?
Yeah. And then you've got I mean, with the football stuff, I feel bad. I do genuinely feel bad for people that ain't into it, and not in it. But again, I always sound patronising, not in a patronising way, because I'm not saying you should be into it. You're missing out, guys. It's not that. It's just you can't escape it. When football is so big in this country, and especially during the World Cup, there's just no getting around it, is there? You'll know the result. I mean, you'll try and avoid it Wednesday night, or you just not even trying to avoid it, but you just not interested Wednesday night, but you'll know the result within minutes.
Yeah, whether you like it or not.
I mean, did we talk about it last week? The text?
No, that happens after.
That happened after the recording. So,
shall I tell the story from my perspective first?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So, I was just having a nice, quiet evening in. I Isaac had gone to bed, wife had gone to bed. Just, like that's my 2 hours. Just do whatever I want. I can't remember how I got onto it, but basically I'd seen a thing about how it's now really easy to get Steam VR stuff working on the Gear VR, which shouldn't be possible. It's like a hack that some nerds came up with. And I was messing around with that. And it just at some point in the evening, I just heard shouting outside, and I was like, oh fucking hell, I hope everything's all right. What's going on? and then I got this whole setup working, and I played a bit of Thumper, and I was like, fuck me, this actually works. The latency's really good and stuff. And I thought, right, who enjoys a bit of VR chat? Matthew J. Murray loves it. So I'm just going to open up the TCGS group on WhatsApp. I was like, oh, fucking hell. Turns out this works. It's really good. And, and Matt just replied, Sean. And then Dave just said, right, I'm tweeting this. And I thought, oh, is he just, having a pop at me for being a nerd? I don't know. Whatever. And little did I know that England had just won on penalties.
On penalties.
Which even I know that never happens. That's...
Yeah.
I mean, it's that thing where I've seen us lose on penalties so many times growing up. In my 33 years of watching football, I've seen England lose so many penalty shootouts that the moment they said it's penalties, I said that's the World Cup over. And then when Henderson missed, it's well, it's definitely over now.
Definitely gone.
And then they missed and we scored, and I'm going, hold on, what? and then they missed again, and we scored the winner, and I went absolutely fucking nuts. I went nuts. So I watched this in my office. They put on a barbecue after work, and we watched it in the boardroom. I'm walking back to the bus stop. I get my phone out, 21 messages. Right, 21 messages on my phone. I'm going through them. Fucking hell, unbelievable. Oh my God, I'm in tears over here. This is mental. This has never happened before. This is insane. And then, oh, lads, did you know that Gear VR? I was just Sean, this is the fucking funniest thing. So I tweeted it, and then as I usually do, right, I instantly thought, oh, I've taken it too far. This is bad. So I rang Sean, and then Sean answered the phone laughing. So I thought, okay, I'm all right. And then we both laughed on the phone for about 5. We barely said anything to each other. We were just laughing for 5 minutes straight, and then we put the phone down. And then at one point you were laughing and went, even I know that's an incredible achievement. Talking about England winning on the World Cup on penalties.
Oh, yeah, because I was saying, obviously, it would have been funny enough if I'd just messaged you something, about anything other than the football. But the fact that it was something, really dry, oh, I've managed to find a third-party hack to get my VR headset to work. Brilliant. Loved it.
Yeah, enjoyed that. Enjoyed it.
We haven't answered the question yet.
Funny.
We haven't really. Well, I have Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, Star Wars.
Obviously,
it does feel like I'm missing out.
Obviously, football is the answer for me. I always feel bad, saying before about people going, "Oh, you're not watching the football," because, involuntarily, my reaction is to just be like, "Oh, fuck's sake," because, and it's totally unfair because those people don't realise that they're tapping in to 32. How old am I? 32, 33? I think I'm 30. Who knows? A lot of years. Of me just having to defend just not being interested in football. And so someone says something and they have no idea that they've just reopened several dozen wounds from the past. We're just like, fuck's sake, again.
No, and it is bad as well because when you meet someone, one of the first questions you want to ask them is your sport?
Oh, right? Yeah.
And the thing is, you judge that person instantly on that answer, whatever that answer is.
Especially if the answer is no one really.
The lowest answer you could give is, I don't really like football. And you're just
I'm lost after that. I'm like, hang on, what? I don't even... So, EastEnders? No, I don't know. Where did it go from there?
Yeah. And it's really funny as well, work-wise, when my boss isn't into football, but when I meet someone who's really high up in another company and my boss is trying to chat to them, and then they say to him, who do you support? And he goes, I don't really like football. And I go, I support Millwall, who do you support? And then they say it. And then we go on a 10-minute conversation, and the boss just like looks at us as if he's like, this isn't fair. I want to be talking to the important man. And I'm like, move over a bit. Let me just sort this guy as an Arsenal fan. He needs telling. Yeah, it's a weird sort of Fight Club sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like, and like I do wish that I liked it, because it would be nice just to have that, have that way in with people, I think.
Unfortunately, you're a Tranmere fan.
I am.
And no Tranmere fan likes football, so it's like it's going to lose.
Have you ever been? I presume you haven't been to a live football match before, Sean.
I'd love to take him to Millwall.
Maybe we should go. Maybe that'd be the thing that you think. Actually, this is
the thing though, because Sean, I know what Sean's going through his head is like. I don't want to.
Yeah,
like that's it. And we're taking it from that sort of very selfish opinion of like, no, but you will love it.
I've been to a wrestling show. I can't sit and watch wrestling on the telly, but going to see it live was really fun. So.
Well, there's just so much more to it. It's like you're not just sitting watching a game of football on TV with someone going, it's not that it's like that constant drone. It's the fans. Like, look, I remember when I first went to my first football match, I barely looked at the game because I was just looking around me at these fully grown adults just screaming obscenities and just thinking, what the fuck is going on here? I didn't give a shit about the football. It was more about the crowds and stuff. It's such it's entertaining thing to watch. Yeah. Like, it's madness, but or sorry, if you're a Palace fan, the flag waving's fun as well, isn't it, Matt?
Fine.
The scarves. Oh look, we've all got the same
football
shirt
scarves.
on.
Like Millwall fans just don't do that.
No. They kill people. Okay, let's go for the next one.
Luke,
they'd sniff Sean out in an instant.
Luke Summerhays at Buscalilly says, me and my mum and my dad and my gran and a bucket of Vindaloo, sang Fat Les. Which family from a video game or series would you like to share a curry with?
Oh, God.
Oh, the one from Resident Evil 7.
I was going to say, that's,
a family.
Can I have the Mars family from Heavy Rain?
God, that would be an awkward dinner, wouldn't it?
Only if you want some conversations about, what to do architecture.
Yeah, I'm going to bring them all back together.
We might talk about that.
Yeah. I reckon they could all bond over a curry. Sort the marriage out.
I would say the one from Life is Strange, but then David's got to be there. Not me, David, but the David, the dad, the stepdad. He's a bit of a bell end, isn't he? I don't care how good he made it in the end. I still hated him. I don't know. There's not that many families in games.
Video
right?
games do suck
here?
at presenting families in like a positive way, don't they? It's always like, oh, my kid's going to be killed, or my kid has been killed, or my wife's been kidnapped, or it's always I'm the man and something bad has happened to my family, or will if I don't prevent it.
And they're telling you that story, and you really want that last poppadom, but you ain't going to take it because they've told you this horrific story about their life and what's going on. And then on the flip side, Sean, a game about just a really happy family going about their business ain't going to be a decent game, is it?
Yeah, it's fair point.
That's it. The odd mild disagreement over dinner.
Bill paying simulator.
Legacy. Was there a game
like
Legacy
the dialogue choices come up and say, no, Dad, I think you're wrong about that political opinion, or smile and nod to have an easier life. Like,
yes, darling, we should paint the living room that colour.
Yeah, I never bloody like the EU, Dad. Yeah, sure, whatever. Let's just get through this without killing each other. Did I tell you this? I don't know if I told you this. I found out the other day, I swear this is 100% true. I found out the other day that when my dad talks to people, just like random people, when he talks about me, he doesn't refer to me as his son. He doesn't refer to me as just Dave or anything, or my boy or anything like that. My uncle overheard my dad talking to a neighbour, and he refers to me as Old Lefty Dave.
Incredible.
Amazing.
I know. Cheers, Dad.
I mean, at least he does talk about you. That's, That's something.
Yeah, that's more than my
Not in the best of lights. If he's using that phrase, it's probably not in the best of lights. Matt, sorry I cut you off.
It wasn't interesting. Let's move on.
No, it's just mine and Matt's daddy issues. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right, last one.
We can do a whole podcast about that.
Yeah. Last one. Shawnee Boy at Shawnee NW says, "Who's Sean's player of the World Cup so far? Is Ryan Giggs in it?" No.
I mean, he doesn't play anymore, let alone...
He's a pundit,
okay.
so
that sort of counts. What about...
Have you heard of any of the England players?
I couldn't name a single one, mate, honestly.
Right, so you've not heard the name Harry Kane?
I've heard the name, yeah.
Right, okay. So
but like, but in any other context, it'd have been like, is he a singer? I don't.
Right, really? Yeah, well, I mean, I must admit, it is quite hard to name the England players these days. They're not.
Well, it isn't like
basically because it's just a fresh crop.
I was going to
of
say, isn't the
players
whole thing this time that it's like that there are no big personalities in the squad, and that's sort of why it's working.
No, I mean, there's Harry Kane, and but even he's quite fresh.
Right,
he's not. They've got rid of. I mean, you could say Henderson is probably the most experienced out of a lot of them. He's had a great World Cup. Like, I never thought I'd ever say that, but he's having a cracking World Cup. But no, I mean, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because the biggest names in football went out so quickly. With Germany and Spain and Portugal and Argentina. It's like, holy shit. Like, either Croatia, England, Belgium or France are going to win the World Cup. It's mad, really. And I know France are decent, but whatever. We're still in that list. There's only 4 people in it.
I love it if France beat Belgium, because I'm more scared of Belgium than France.
Really?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Definitely.
I don't know. I think we'd take them all. I mean, I said at the beginning we were going to win it, and here I am. Look at me.
This one time. You happen to be right.
This one time.
But yeah, that is it from the questions. Should we go back?
Well, Matt's got to tell people to tweet and that, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to cover the Kickstarter thing one last time, because I don't want there to be any confusion any more than I've already created. So if you backed us on the Kickstarter, first of all, thank you. Secondly, if you back T-shirts only, do the survey that was sent. Select your sizes in both men's and women's, but add in the delivery instructions whether you want men's or women's size. Polos only, just answer the survey. That should be all hunky-dory. And if you've ordered the combo of both of them, respond to the message that I've sent to everyone on Kickstarter with your chosen style, being men's or women's, your size, all the size details are on the campaign page, and the address when you did send it to. Any questions, just hit me up on Twitter at Matt Murray, or just message us on Kickstarter. It should all be fairly self-explanatory. As well as that, we're doing a live show at EGX this September.
Come on. I'm
not going to go straight into promo mode, but that is happening at the end of September, 22nd of September to be exact, 5 till 7. Go to egx.net to get your tickets. The early bird tickets, I think, for Saturday are already gone, so you might want to get on it a bit quicker than usual, because I know those are gone. There's still day tickets available. You only need day tickets to come and see us.
Also, if you're worried about missing out on playing games during the show, and I don't really want to go and sit and listen to a podcast when I could be playing these new games or whatever, don't worry. Retro Asylum are on at 12. Use that time to go and play your games.
Yeah, perfect time to do it.
And then by the time we're on stage, you'll be done. You know what I mean? Have a nice little sit down.
Yeah. So that's that. In terms of the podcast itself, we're on every podcast service known to man. We're on Google Podcasts now if you're on Android, Apple Podcasts for on iOS and stuff. We're on Spotify. We've got Discord. Go to bit.ly/TCGS Discord to chat with like-minded gamers in your area. And we'd love your Apple podcast reviews, because they really help us get up the charts and more people can listen to us and yada, yada, yada. But that's it. Thank you ever so much for listening to the social bit.
Right, okay. Thanks for living it. We'll catch you next week, hopefully with a full cast of characters and high on the fact. I mean, we're gonna try and attempt to record the day after we win the World Cup, Matt. I don't know what's gonna happen there.
I just realised that.
I don't know.
Oh my god!
Next,
actually, guys, I can't do Monday, so we have to move it to Sunday. Is that all right?
No, it is not. I mean, it might be. It might be.
Oh god, yeah, we might not be able to do that on the. I mean, but if we win, when we win the World Cup, surely businesses around Britain have to shut down for the Monday. Like,
I was thinking
everyone's going to be in a
It's
state
actually
or
going to
hangover
damage
or
the economy, isn't it?
yeah.
Well, to be fair, they said we've added so much to it by
That's
getting
true.
this far anyway. I mean, a day off wouldn't be a bad shout. I just got a feeling like my boss is just going to turn around and take me to one side and say, look, if you win on Sunday, just don't even bother. Like, honestly, I'll just save us all the effort.
Businesses now are surely behind the scenes making plans if we get there. Just, they can't expect people to come in for work.
It must be something they've considered.
Once in a lifetime, this is...
Oh, the Queen's Jubilee, they had an extra bank holiday, didn't they? And I was like, they said that at work today, and I was like, yeah, but this is more important. We should just get the week off. Like, fuck it, go mental. Have you seen the trailers for that film, The Purge, or whatever?
Yeah.
Just make it that for a week. Be fine. There'll be no ambulances left.
Audi today have announced that they say football's coming home, and as a result, they're shutting all their stores early on Sunday, so all their staff can go watch the final. How good's that?
How awful is it for people that... I mean, obviously not everyone's into football, but fine. But, a long story, I'm not going to tell it all here, but I've got to go for a meal at 1:30 on Sunday. And if anything, I just feel sorry for the chef. Do you know what I mean? And they must be in there going... The fuck am I doing here? The state of our meals that are going to come out. I'm tempted to just not eat. Like, and just go, 1 pot noodle, please. Thank you.
Just a starter of lettuce.
Yeah.
Got to shoot
We'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
Sorry it's been football heavy.
The next time we podcast, England could be World Cup champions.
I know. If we go out on Wednesday, I'm going to be absolutely devastated now. I promised myself not to get angry, but I will. I'll smash the place up. Goodbye, everybody.
Cheers. It's coming home, lads.
Next
coming home.
We could be World Cup champions. That's it. Done.
Romeo, done.